are here for. So I have a speech. I'm just going to read for you. And please be attentive. It's so John D. Rockefeller, the first official billionaire. Can you put your phones on silent, please? Put your phones on silent, please. Thank you. So John D. Rockefeller, the first official billionaire in human history, has been quoted to say this: if you have little money, it is time to start a business. If you have nothing, it is urgent that you start one now. If you spend all day working for someone else, you may not have time to become rich. Now, he's not saying that you shouldn't work for somebody else. But he's saying that if you want to do something massive, then business is crucial. He said, don't fear big expenses. Listen to this. He says, fear low income. Did you hear that? Don't fear big expenses. Fear low income. Then I saw this. A loser's environment will drag you into poverty. So surround yourself with winners and optimists. Do not wait until you can do it big. Don't wait until you can do it big. You may never do it big if you're waiting. Just start small. Though your beginning may be small, and your later end, he said, it will increase. So start from where you are. Start small, but don't stay small. Abraham was told by God to look from where he was, meaning that you can be productive at every level. At every level. You can do something at your level. Solomon said, that's Proverbs 13:23, there is much food, the food that talks about resources. Much food, abundance. There is abundance, there's much resources in the tillage. In the tillage of the poor, one of the translations says there is much resources that is uncultivated in the ground of the poor. That means opportunities abound everywhere. If you won't think you are too big, opportunities abound everywhere. If only we can see it. Now, this is also crucial. This event is intended to be very practical. Amen. All right, that's what's going on there? Can you put up the sub? It's disturbing me. Put up the sub. Did you touch anything there? Okay, let's continue. So this event is intended to be very practical. What is in my heart? Please, can you switch this off? Just switch this off. No, go. Just remove the thing at the back. Just remove the pop. Switch off the power. Is it off? Amen. Okay, switch. Jimmy, switch that off. Switch it off. Switch it off. Amen. That's serious. All right, so just listen to me. The event is intended to be very practical. What I want is that the attendees will go home with practical business idea. And thank you all for coming. So we've not invited theoreticians. That's those who have theory. You know what the scripture says? It says, follow them who through faith and patience they have obtained the reward. So you have to follow them. Those are the people that should be followed. Not people who have stories, but who don't have proofs. In fact, my sister-in-law is here. That's Pastor Margaret's elder sister. I told her last year that I wanted to bring her, and I was asking her that, how much did you make? Is that correct? And then she was giving me some serious figures. So what I want is that to have practical tools that when we go, we can go on with. And then we can start something with it. So it's not just to gather people around, but it's to gather with evidence. To gather with evidence. So my prayer is that very soon, some of us, if not all of us, will be able to attribute our business success to this global event. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 9, it says, the profit of the head is for all. So my prayer is that we will have profit in Jesus' name. Amen. So let's invite the moderator. Please clap. If you clap for her, she will walk faster.
Thank you. Praise the Lord. Right. It's Navigate's business by the Great Salvation Church. So praise the Lord. So good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to Navigate's business. This thing is actually disgrace. It's the first edition ever, so we're making history today. Amen. So as you already know from Pastor's speech, we are diving into the essentials of entrepreneurship today. It's our hope that at the end of today, everyone is going to leave here inspired to start a business or to take their businesses to the next level. I'm so sorry, this thing is really distracting. So today we have a panel session and we have two presentations. One on finances and the other one is on digital marketing, business marketing. So first of all, we're starting with our panel and we have two amazing speakers here with us. Very experienced. I'm going to read out their bios and invite them over to the front, and then we're going to have the discussion. It's going to be very, very, what we're going to do, we'll ask them questions first, they will answer, and after that, we'll go into the Q&A session. So I'm just going to encourage us that as we're listening to them, and maybe you even came here with questions already. Is it working? Oh, good. Maybe you even came with questions already. So as they're speaking, please write down your questions, maybe from what they said, from something that you've been meaning to ask. And I pray that we'll all go with insights in Jesus' name. So our first panelist is Mrs. Maria Olumuyiwa. She's an accomplished entrepreneur and corporate professional with over 20 years of experience, spanning banking, fashion, and beauty industries. She's the director and CEO of multiple successful businesses in the fashion and beauty sector. And her banking experience has also positioned her as a leader in both business and finance. So please let's put our hands together as we welcome Mrs. Maria Olumuyiwa to join us here. Thank you. That's really amazing. And then, thank you, Ma, for joining us. And then we have Pastor Dapo Adebayo. He's a preacher, he's a pastor, he's a civil engineer and entrepreneur. He's a senior pastor of Word Alive Mission and Ministries International, which is a multicultural denomination in Rochester, Kent. Pastor Dakwa is an apostolic teacher with mandates to liberate souls universally through the power of the word, accompanied with apostolic prayers. So while he has the business part, he's also equipped to, pray for us and make sure that we break through. He's a lover of God and kingdom promoter. He's passionately dedicated to human service as he's committed to giving his best to anyone's destiny across which comes across his path. Apart from his full-time job, Pastor Dakpo has God's business in few sectors such as international logistics, real estate, and money services. He has a master's degree in project management and practices as an engineer in a tier 1 multinational construction company. Please welcome Pastor Dakpo as he also joins us in front for the discussion. So we're just going to go into the question and answer session right away. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So yes, we're going to start with Mrs. Maria first. Can you tell us about your business and how you started? And as you talk about it, we'd like to know the steps that you took to bring this business idea into reality, because it's one thing to have a business idea, and then it's another thing to, go ahead and register your business and do everything that you need to do to start it. Over to you, Mom.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. God bless you all for coming here today, and I just want to thank the host for inviting me, Pastor Deji and his lovely wife, Pastor Margaret. Thank you for having me here today. So I'll just start by talking about myself. So about my business, I should say. So for me, I started on quite young, but let's just fast forward to university. I started my business when I was at university. So it was just out of what I liked. I liked fashion, I liked hair, I liked beauty. So what I did was I just started asking people, so I would ask my friends, I'd be like, do you like this? Do you like that? And they'll be like, yeah. Or they'll be like, oh, can you make my hair? And all of that. So from there, that's how it started, right? So I saw that there was a need for it, and my friends would be asking me questions like, oh, where did you get this from? Where did you get that from? They just liked what I had. And then so I just decided that, I think, I can sell this. I make some money. So I started selling them, and then other people got to hear about it. And that was how it started. And then I decided to do it properly. Although I was at uni, I just thought I could make money on the side. And that was when Facebook started getting a little bit popular. And Instagram wasn't in then. It was Facebook. Everyone was on Facebook. So I started using Facebook, and then I started posting on Instagram as well. So that's really how I started. It wasn't the usual route where you sit down and do a research about businesses and all of that, but that was how I started. But if I was going to speak to you today about how to start a business, I would say do your research. Do your research, yes, but initially, the first thing you should do is really think about what you like and what you would do long term. So say, for example, this nowadays, everyone wants to go into everything because it's popular, everyone is doing it, it's all over social media. But in the long run, would you be able to sit and keep at it? That's very important. So do your research, first of all. Go into the market. So say, for example, you're interested in digital marketing. Do your research. Go on YouTube. Go and Google. Google is your best friend. Go there, do the research and check to see, okay, how are people doing this? Is it worth it? Do I have interest in it? Is it something I love to do? Would I wake up in the middle of the night and, the first thing I want to do is work on my business. That's the first thing. And the second thing I've said already is interest. You have to have interest. Because if you don't have interest in a business, it would fall off eventually. It would drop off along the way. That's why if you read up on how a lot of businesses shut down, it's because they just couldn't sustain the business. You know, there are other things, but if there's no interest there, it just drops off. I've got some points down here. Also, have a business plan. You have to plan. If you don't plan, you can also fall off along the way. Put a plan in place. This is the business I want to do. This is how I'm going to fund the business. This is the website I want to do, or I want brick and mortar. There are lots of things you have to look into, and in the long run, how would you continue to fund that business? Because initially, you can get the funds you need, but as you go along, would there be enough funds to keep it going? Choose your business name. Well, I've sort of thrown it all over the place, but you get the gist. What did I say? Fund your business, yes, and then choose a business name. So that should come first. After you've done your research, you know your interest, and you really want to go into it, choose a business name. And please don't choose a business name that by the time you think about it, 10 years down the line, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I was thinking. You know, you hear some funny business names where they've used their names and added something funny on the side because, you know, there's excitement at the time, and you've just chosen a name out of the blue and just done it. So just think about it properly. You can go on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, yes, X, and they just, you know, or go on the government website and just go through a company's search and just try to see like the business names that are on there. That could kind of help you and guide you to choose what name to go for. And also, sorry.
So ask ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, yeah, thank you. So we've got that. You know, it's the AI world now, so we can use that. Also, register your business. When registering your business comes in when you know for sure that's what you want to do. That's the business you want to do. Then you can register. Just start first and see if it works, see if that's what you really want to do, and then register your business. Registering your business is key if you want people to take you serious. It's very important because there are people that go online. You know, nowadays, well, generally, people don't trust the online business except they've been there and they know that. So, you know, like the popular businesses like, let's say Asda and Tesco, you know, you're shopping and all that, you trust the website, so you will buy from them. So for you to be seen as a serious business as well, you will have to register eventually, okay? And then also, if you want to go into a business where it's more online, you're trying to reach more people across the globe, and you feel like online is a good platform for you, I'll say use social media. Social media is really good. It helps you to put yourself out there where you don't need money at the beginning to pay to use those platforms. So Instagram is free, Facebook is free, TikTok is free as well. Just post, talk about your business, and that helps. It's free at the moment, so you can set yourself up on these pages. I have another point on here. If you're using social media and you have a website, try to use the same name across the board. So your website has a name. When you're setting up your business email, let it have your name, your business name in there. So it's easy for people to find you. You know, sometimes someone might just come across your name and say, oh, let's try this business. I'll buy something from them. And they buy one thing and they, you know, forget. If they have a hint about what your business name is, they can kind of find you. If they can't find the website, they can find you on social media. And you know how it is. As soon as you type in a few letters, the business name can pop up. So those are just some points some things that I used as well along the way in my business. You know I didn't do the research first. The research came after because I started kind of like a unit, kind of stumbled into it. But I started to do my research, you know, about the fashion industry, about the hair industry, and the beauty. Because what I leaned towards was more of selling products. So I used to sell like a lot of things in the business in the fashion and beauty sector. So my research came after, and then yes, that's it really. Those are some points that I've put down here, and I hope I've been able to help you. Sorry, I feel like I rambled it off. I hope it was clear.
I'm sure it was. But just before we move to Pastor Dapo,
Okay.
can you just tell us what your business is? Like, what do you do?
Okay, so my business is, so I do a lot of things. So in terms of the fashion and beauty, I sell more products, like I was saying. So I sell bags, shoes, clothes, jewelry, beauty items, so like lip glosses, makeup, and all of that. So on that side, I do that. I also sell hair products as well, the usual hair products. And then there was a time I used to make hair. I was like a hairstylist that used to do that as well. So I just used to juggle everything across. And bear in mind, I also had a 9-to-5 job. But I was able to, I just juggled it all together.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll still come back to that 9-to-5 job question later on. Pastor Dapo, is there anything that you can add to what she's already said?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So for me, is that mic working? It's not on. Oh, hello? Can everybody hear me now? Can everybody hear me? Okay, so thank you. For me, I'm into logistics and also money services and of course real estate. So for me, how I started was a quest for more. I've always been in business, whether directly or indirectly, and what I mean is, right from secondary school days, I attended a boarding school. So there were guys that would not come to class or that would not write their notes. So I would say, let me write your note for you. Then you give me maybe half of your lunch during lunchtime. Or let me write your note for you. You give me Gary, for instance. Little did I know I was transacting. And as I grew older, I realized this thing was working for me. So I did my first business in, what's it called? Party services. So I would gather boys who would serve in parties, supply drinks and everything. Then later I got a job in Nigerian Brewery. So it was working for me, and I realized this is not just coincidence, it's a grace. So that was why I thought of starting business. But fast forward, when I came to the UK, I knew I couldn't settle for 9-to-5, the kind of life I wanted to live. I knew 9-to-5 would not be enough for me. So I began thinking, what can I do? I started off selling things on eBay, but the sort of profit margin I wanted was not what I could get from there. So, like I said, I knew it was great, so I began to pray about it, and God gave me the idea of cargo. So the first thing I did, unlike my sister, I began to make research in that area, look for people who had results in the area, people who had been doing it. Because for anything you want to do, there's an existing market. So I began to make my research, look for people that were already in the business, and I said to them, can I partner with you? This is my vision, this is my plan. For me, whatever I want to do, I look at it from the business angle of things, because even for cargo, there are those that do the handling. For me, I'm more commercial. I just think of how I make money. I don't have to do the hard work. You have to work smart and not work hard. So I started making my research, and that was how I started.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll get back to that. I like how you said you don't do the hard work. You work smart. I love it. And speaking of, you said something, you wanted more. And this brings us to our next question, which is how were you able to scale your business? Because I also did businesses in my university. I sold things. I registered businesses, but that scaling, is what is missing. So, and I think everybody here will be interested in knowing how you can scale your business. Pastor Dapo, please, can you speak to that first?
Thank you. So for me, how the word scale is subjective, but I would say how we scaled was to improve our digital footprint. We know it's technological world we live in now. So the first thing we did was to create enough awareness online. We started off by making sure, if you Google right now comfort cargo, I'm not going to pay for the advert.
No.
So or you Google cargo company near me, between the first 5-7 lists, my name is going to pop up. So we improved our online presence. We reinforced our digital footprint. And after that, we make sure that we did what our peers were not doing to give us an advantage over them. So, for example, we have a website, and our website, you can track your shipments in real time. We also have what people don't have right now. A lot of people don't have right now, as in contemporary cargo companies, because Nigerian markets are a major market, although very soon we're going to be going to other countries. I won't share that now. But so that's what we did, basically. We have our app working on iOS and Android. So if you could download Comfort Cargo app and put your, your request there, and one of our agents will pick you up to say, do you want us to pick this from your house, or do you want to drop it off? So those are the things we did, and it's really helped us because everybody wants convenience. In this age and time, nobody wants to, everybody wants to save time.
Yeah.
And we also incorporated a service that allows us to, once your stuff comes from Nigeria, instead of coming to our warehouse in Dagenham to pick you up, we bring it to Medway for you to come and take. And for people that has bulk consignment, we would normally drop to their house free. So that sort of, blew the space. Everybody wanted to be at home and just be served. So that's what helped us.
So everybody, Comfort Cargo, keep the money in-house, don't take it outside. Mrs. Olumoya, is there anything you want to share about how you're able to scale your business? So you can just, go from that, I'm selling this to,
Yes.
more people.
So obviously when it comes to scaling, you're looking at your business as a whole and sort of seeing how you can do better, how you can, we all want to make money, so let's be clear. So you're looking at how your business can make more money, but you're also looking at how that can be done without you running yourself dry and overworking yourself. So what I did in my business was I decided to use a platform where I could automate most of my things. So I would also use systems that would help me plan my time, plan when I should post, plan when I should check, when I should do my deliveries. So I started using a platform called Etsy. I don't know if anyone knows that platform, but Etsy helps you do a lot of things that you don't need to do yourself. So there are lots of other things as well. So obviously things with using a post office, instead of having to plan your time, you have to, like for me, go to work, come back, rush to the post office because I have to make sure it gets there at a certain time. There are people from other countries that have said, oh, okay, you do next day delivery, flying off to DHL and all of that. Where you have the postman come to your house and pick up those items was really amazing. So those were little things that I had to put in place where it will help my business do better. We're also helping me make more income, where I'm not stretching myself thin. I have some points on here that I put down. So I put paying attention to marketing, which will help you know where you need to focus when it comes to your marketing. You must automate your processes. I put that on there as well. It really, really helps if you can automate most of your processes. Or also, if it's sort of like a brick and mortar business, if you can employ people that can help you, where you don't have to literally cover every department of your business. You're the manager, you're the director, you're the postman, you're the reviewer, you're the same person putting all the reviews together, you're the same person making sure the website is functioning, you're the same person, making sure the products ordered in on time. Yeah, it can be a bit stressful. So those are the little things that you can put in place that will help your business scale up. Another one was, I'll say build a network. So, obviously when you meet other people, they sort of give you pointers on how to help your business scale up as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. And networking, you can tell people this is what I do and that, and so on. And then the next question that I would ask Pastor Dakwa is, do we all have to own several businesses because you own money services, you own logistics? Why did you decide to go into different businesses?
Thank you. So for me, the first thing I want you to know is that no billionaire in the world, because I don't want to be a millionaire, I want to be a billionaire. So no billionaire in the world has one business. Every wealthy man, once they succeed in one area, they diversify. Richard Branson has 400 businesses. You can Google it. men that have gone to do great things. Nobody has one business. You don't put your egg in one basket. As a matter of fact, there are times I've had to pull money from the money service to fund the cargo service. So if I had just one business, the chances are that things, well, I don't even say something going wrong, but it's just being wise that you diversify and do other things. So that's the first thing for me. Secondly, if you look at scripture, even God himself, the Garden of Eden, I think Genesis 2 thereabout, then 10 to 12 thereabout, there are 4 rivers that waters the Garden of Eden. So if there are 4 rivers, there's Passion, there's Tigris, there's, thank you, Gihon and all of that. I mean, that's telling us, if God can put 4 rivers to sustain the garden, it's a lesson that your financial sustainability should not be one source. You can't have one stream of income. It's not clever in this age and time to depend on just your salary. And by God's grace, I earn well. I'm a civil engineer, but it's just not wise to depend on one stream of income. Anything could go wrong. God forbid if tomorrow the industry collapses. Before I even
senior civil engineer, senior. You didn't have senior.
So before I even pray for another job, I have what to do already. That will take my time. So that's it for me. Also, if you study the market and you feel there's an opportunity here, why not? Why stay in one place? So I don't take time. That's just it for me. There's so much to say, but that's just it for me, really.
Yeah, thank you very much. So diversification is good, and if you're Nigerian, there was a time that diversification, we can't rely on oil, so that the economy can grow, and we can see the situation of Nigeria as it is. So diversify, it's good. Please, Elma, the question I want to ask you is, I'm new in the UK. What are the important things, and where can I find information? What are the important things that I need to know about starting a business in the UK? Where can I find this information as well?
Okay, so for me, what I would say is go on the government website. The government website has every single thing you need. There's a step-by-step. It shows you how to start a business. It shows you how to register your business. It has all the information on there. So I would say go to the government website. That would help you.
Okay. So and I feel like that's an important question, so that we do not fall foul to the legal system and all of that, because I'm Nigerian. Coming from Nigeria, you can start a business, you don't have to pay taxes and all of that. But I'm sure that is a very serious issue here in the UK. So go on the government website and see what needs to be done. And I have one question for both of you. Has it been easy? What are some of the challenges that you have faced starting a business? Who do I start with? Okay, Pastor Dako, please.
Thank you. Just before I answer that question, we're talking about tax. Well, we're told in Money Masterclass that evading tax is a crime. And of course, for a believer, it's a sin. But avoiding tax is not a crime. You only need to be smart.
Okay.
Let's keep that away. In-house information.
We'll see you after.
So has it been easy? Frankly speaking, no. There's been challenges. Ups and downs. It's not been all that rosy. Difficult customers, uncertainties from vessel complaints, clearing in Nigeria. You know what Nigeria can be sometimes. Even lawsuits. I've been to court, with customers. Don't be surprised. It's part of the process. We don't be big. You must be ready for anything, really. I've had customers sue me to court. It's no big deal. So it's been challenging. I'm sure you'll be thinking, Pastor, court, it's not a crime. I mean, if you want to be big, you must be ready to shoot out big. But if you have your, your papers together, you have a system in place that engenders your continuity. It doesn't matter whether you go to court or you don't go to court. It's part of the process, because the fact that you're a pastor doesn't mean people want to cheat you. There are those that want to take advantage of you, because you see, in this age and time, people think that as a pastor, everything they put in your mouth, just force it down your throat. Well, in church, it might work because we are shepherds, but in the business world or in the marketplace, no. If you want to cheat me, I won't have it. And if I need to go to court with you, I would go and let the judge or the court settle it. I know that may not sound Christian-like, but if you're going to lose thousands of pounds, it makes no sense. I'd rather go to court. So yeah, it's not been easy. There's been challenges, but that's it.
Okay. Oh, Mrs. Maria.
Okay, well, so for me as well, it's similar, where a customer said, you've sent them something and they've said, oh, I don't like it, but they've refused to send it back. And then because you don't want to have a bad review, you send them a new one. So you've lost the money on both sides, or where somebody goes to PayPal and say, oh, I didn't receive my item, but you do have the track record where you've tracked the details and you can see it did get to the home address. And, so just little silly things like that as well. Or where you've done a massive order for your business, and by the time it arrives, half of the things in there are wet. That happened to me. I was like, oh my God, what was I going to do? I've promised people and all of that. So it's just, and then, there are also seasons where it's up and down. You've gone through the Christmas period season. You've had lots and lots of orders, and then it's the new year and everything is just quiet and dry, and you just have, products sitting there. So it's just, there's so many different things where you really have to really trust that, this is the business I want to do, and then just stick at it, really.
All right, thank you very much.
Can I just add that,
yes,
something
please.
about that as well? Just like you said, nothing big starts big. There's always challenges, but for every challenge you go through is a learning curve.
That's right.
To make you better. Talking about dispute resolution, that's one area where I think our business has thrived. My wife and I, we've made sure, particularly myself, to make sure that our customers, will keep them happy. Of course, it doesn't, nullify the process of if we need to trigger competition events or we need to go to court, whatever. But you see, one major thing about business, make sure your customers are happy. Just like you said, we've had to reimburse people, even when we know we're in a fault. But for the sake of peace and to engender continuity, we've had to pay people. People tell me, oh, that bag I had, one customer said to me one time, I had designer clothes in the bag, and for like almost 2 weeks we were looking for the bag. When we found the bag, it was used. You know what they call okrika in Nigeria? It was used clothes in the bag. If we had not found that bag, she was already telling me to bring 3,000 pounds.
Wow.
So you have those kind of people. But then, because it's what you want to do, you want to ensure continuity, you just have to make sure people are happy. There are those you reimburse 300 pounds, 500 pounds. Some you tell them, okay, the next 2 consignments I'll carry free, and so that's part of the challenge.
Has there been times that you wanted to quit?
For me, no, but my wife, yes. I think for me, no.
Someone always says that men are always more, yes, sometimes, okay, let's not go into that. Let's focus. Has there been any time you wanted to quit, and how did you?
Well, not really. I just get really sad and just cry sometimes, but I just keep it moving. I'm like, business, you have to, but because you make more than you lose.
Oh, okay. Okay, you think about the rewards.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is involved in managing a business, especially if you are the business sole employee? Would it be any different if there were any other employees? Because I know you also mentioned your wife, Pastor Dapo.
Oh yes. So if you're doing it all alone, it's difficult. It will overwhelm you. It's challenging when you do everything alone. When we started, it was just myself and my wife. But now we've got people on payroll, particularly in Nigeria, because we live here. For here, we hire people on part-time basis because we can't afford to put them full-time. If you are doing it all alone, it's demanding. It will wear you out. Imagine having to load a 3.5-tonner van all by yourself. It's hard, but that was how we started. But yes, having people that work for us now is made things easier. So, like I said, I see things from the commercial aspect of things, not just having to do the hard work. So now I have guys that report consignments to me, send me the spreadsheet, somebody who manages the back end of the website to make sure when there's inquiry, somebody's there to pick it up. That's made my life way, way easier. I have boys that can send to go and pick things, both here and abroad. So that's made a lot of difference for me. But before now, doing 9 to 5 ministry and still managing family was very difficult. So if you're doing all alone, it will wear you out. Trust me. You have to create a system that as you scale your business, you can't spend the money alone. you need to keep employing hands. So for example, even June, we're trying to employ more hands in Nigeria because, well, by God's grace, as work gets bigger, you need more hands to run the errand. So,
thank you very much for the answer. Mrs. Maria, I want you to answer the same question, and I'm going to ask it in a different way.
Okay.
Are there businesses that you can run as a sole proprietor on your own? And I'm asking this because of your line of business, which is fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So based on your own experience, is it possible to do the business on your own? Do you always need to employ people?
So that would depend. It depends on where you are in your business. So obviously, at the beginning, you can start yourself. You can, you're the social media person, you're the customer service person, but you're answering you're 10 different people. You can send out the products yourself, you can build the website yourself, you can do that at the beginning. But as your business grows and as you scale, you definitely need that support. You need to automate some, you need to employ if you have to, get a virtual assistant, get a social media manager, get someone to build your website and make it look better. So things like that, yes. I'll say when your business gets bigger and you're beginning to feel it doing 10 different people's jobs, then definitely employ. But you can start on your own and do all of it, because I did it.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So I can hear automation, I can hear employ people. So there are many different ways, but let's employ people so that people can make money. Not like automation is not good, but let employ them to automate the business.
And there are times you just have to, just talking about automation. So for example, in my line of business, we have guys that does the wrapping, so I was going to go China one time to get a wrapping machine like you see in the airport. But I thought to myself, if you bring that and those guys don't have a job, it's difficult. A lot of them are still struggling to survive. That's what they do for a living. So you have a 40-footer container, they do your wrapping for you. May not be a lot, but they still make decent money. So in my head as a person, I'm thinking if I buy that machine from China, they're out of job.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to be considerate and know what to do part-time. Plus, you don't want to attract enemies to yourself. You must learn to keep your enemies close sometimes.
Yeah. All right.
So,
thank you very much. So how do you fund your business? Is it advisable to get a loan from the bank? Investors into your business? Borrow from friends, family? What do you think? Because some people are afraid of loans.
Does she want to go first?
Yes, yes.
Okay. For me, I started funding my business with my 9-to-5. So I'll take some money, I'll dip in there, and so the extra money I would have at the end of the month where I could treat myself to something nice, or do my hair or get my nails done, I would put that money in my business because I really love business. So I used to use my money from my 9-to-5. I'd just get some money in there to do the business. But I would say if you've done that, like what I've done, you've used your work money to start your business, it gets to a point where you start feeling like the demand is becoming more and you need more money. So I'll say maybe, and this is if you're good with money, use a credit card and pay it off quickly. But if your business is doing very, very well, get a business loan. But you have to manage that borrowing. I always say, if you don't know how to manage money, please don't. Don't do it, don't mess up your business. But if you can, or if you have savings that you can afford to use that. If you have savings, use that. If you can dip out of your salary, do that. But if you're really, really struggling, maybe use a credit card with a low balance. Don't stretch yourself out thin. But a business loan would work as well. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Pastor Dapo.
Okay, so depending on what your business is, you can self-fund, and by that I mean you can, use a personal savings if you have one. You could liquidate your credit card. You could approach family if you want to keep it coded to yourself for a start. You don't have to approach family. Another one is you could even use your overdraft and pay back, depending on what the requirement of that business is. Another one, you could even approach investors or capitalists. I mean, this is United Kingdom. It's a capitalist economy. There are people who's got the money sitting down somewhere. But you see, what I realize is that people haven't learned the power of joint venture. Typical color man wants to do it myself. So when you see these guys do big real estate business, I hope I'm not jumping ahead of time. It's because a lot of them is joint venture. Nobody has that money all alone. They've learned to partner with people. So in funding your business, you might want to use or employ any of those tools. They are capitalists all over the place. If you have a good proposal and your profit margin is very attractive to them, they would join you. So for example, if you were to give me some money, I remember one time I was going to start what's it called, an African Caribbean shop in a place here in Kent, and I approached one of my Asian friends. Those guys, they've got money. I said, I need 70, 80 grand. And he said, I'll give you now. But what he was willing to take in returns is not wise for me, because you don't have to think of now. You have to think of the future. But in any case, what I'm saying is that they are capitalists all over the place. They are investors all over the place. They are mediums whereby you can fund your business if you need to. But if it's not something very big, you might want to look at, borrowing from family and friends, pay back over a few months, and build your capital of that.
Okay. And the next question I'm going to ask off that is, where do we find these venture capitalists, these people that have so much money? Because I know there are people in this world that have plenty of money. Where do we find them? Mrs. Maria, do we know where they are?
Well, I think you can Google them out. I think you can do a search on Google as well. I did that a few years ago. Not that I got not that I applied to investors or I wanted to get an investor. It was just part of the research. So I was just looking into it to see, everything to do with business, really. And then you just come across them online. You can also get business grants. Go on the government website. It's really good with that. Check on the government website. They do give grants to businesses as well.
All right, thank you. Pastor Dakwe, do you want to add?
Yes, just like you said, it's about having the right information. You can check online. Then, of course, your network. One thing I've realized that rich men do, they build a network around themselves because of the day of droughts. If you get where I'm coming from, people who know me will normally know that this is my slogan, that relationship is a currency, because anything money can buy, relationship can buy it as well. So you must trust God to surround yourself with men that are not only spiritual, but are also doing well in the marketplace. For times like this, people you can say, look, I need 50 grand, I'll give you back in 2 months. I need 10 grand, I'll give back. When God begins to give you, in fact, one of the greatest assets you can have is men. When God puts men in your life, it's one of the greatest assets you can have. So I think one of the ways is to have the right network. They may not have the bulk, but can I get 5? Can I get 5? Like that.
All right. I think one thing I'm also hearing is that you need to look at your network. Do you have somebody that you can wake up tomorrow and say, give me 10K? Let's think about that. And then, Mrs. Maria, I want to ask you this question. How do you stand out in the crowd? Because you mentioned Etsy, and I know there are several businesses and you're doing fashion, and I know there are many of them doing fashion. So how do you stand out? How do you make sure that they come to you?
Well, so there are different things you can do. Well, your website has to be good, it has to be attractive, it has to be different. What I've noticed that most people do is people tend to copy each other. So it just looks the same across the board. Like, so when you go on Instagram, everyone's pages looks the same. So you just do something. And what you need to know as well is that we're all different. We're not all the same. So, the way you speak is different. The way you look is different. So when you come online and you're talking about your product, you are the one speaking. The sort of relationship you build with your customers as well. You always have to make sure your customers are happy. Give them little incentives here and there. If you buy this, you get that free, or you get a free gift, or you get a discount. Things like that help you stand out from other people. And then with your prices as well, when you're pricing things, try to be, in the middle somewhere. Don't be too high, don't be too low, but also make sure you're not making a loss, things like that as well. So those are just a few things I would say.
All right, thank you.
Standing out.
Pastor Dako, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, just like she said, you have to do what others are not doing. Like I said earlier, we have a website that is very functional. You can book your shipment. You can also track it in real time. You can make requests, and within seconds, there's somebody to answer you. You know, that's not very common, you know, or conventional among cargo companies, especially people of color. Not only that, we sort of put money into the business as part of our scaling. We bought a big 3.5-tonner van with our name well written on it. So if I'm driving through, you're driving behind me, you can see Comfort Cargo, you can see the number, the website, you know. So these are things we've done differently. And of course, we also prioritize customer relationship. We try to make sure our customers are happy by way of not just serving them. As a matter of fact, our mantra, our slogan is efficient, reliable, sustainable, you know. So when you patronize us, we are not only looking out to help you save time, but also save money. So like you said, we make sure our prices are very competitive, and you would not want to go elsewhere except you haven't come to us. So these are things we've done differently, and we sort of tailor our service to meet individual needs. So somebody who says, oh, Pastor, I don't have up to 10 kilo, whereas our minimum is 10 kilo. How much kilo do you have? Oh, I have 5 kilo. Okay, don't worry, bring it. I'll do this for you. We try to tailor our service to meet everybody's demand, as opposed to say, oh, we are not doing that, just go, it's 10 kilo, you know. So these are part of things we've done differently, and it's really helped us.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. When people reach out to some businesses, imagine you ask for something and the person we don't have, and that's it. You need to like provide a solution, like he said. Is the customer always right?
It's subjective. Okay. But by wisdom, you can be even with them.
Okay. How do you manage business with family, with your 9 to 5? Because Mrs. Maria, I think you should go first.
So what what works for me is getting up early. So I get up early, regardless of what time I go to bed. I could go to bed at, thank you. I can go to bed at, say, midnight, 1 a.m. I'll still wake up early. At 5 o'clock, I'm up. So that really helps me. What works for me is the waking up early, sorting out what I need to sort out for my business before the children wake up, and then start getting them ready for school, and then heading to work, so that when I come back in the evening, I'm spending time with them. Okay. So I do my business stuff in the morning, and then
so when do you find time to rest?
I rest in the evening. I rest in the evening, and then at the weekends, and also bear in mind some weekends I work. So I just kind of like, juggle it all together. Yeah. But I just try to make sure that my morning time I do my, my prayer time, and then my business time, and then the day starts with the rest of it. That's what I do. And it works for me.
Yeah, thank you. Pastor Dakwa, how can you check if customers really want your product or service before investing a lot of time and money?
Okay, so before I answer that, can I just quickly say something about what she said about managing 9 to 5? I think it's a capacity issue. If you must, build capacity. It's same as ministry. If you can't manage 10, God won't give you 20. So it's capacity issue. You must learn time management. You have to be disciplined. You have to create systems around yourself that engenders your smooth running and continuity. And as God begins to help you with finance, rich men they buy convenience. But you see, I realize people of color, we see money as very big issue, and that's what kills many people. So as God begins to help you, build system around yourself. For example, we have a pair that works with us because I'm working 9 to 5, I'm running business, I'm running ministry. I still can't carry my child to the bathroom. I don't have the time, except on weekends when I am home with them. And so what I'm saying is, as God begins to help you, create a system around yourself that that engenders your peace of mind and continuity of your operation. So back to your question, that
what is Opel? Like
a nanny that does looking after the children, clean the house, and all those kind of things. Yes. So to answer your question, I think it's again, it's subjective, because it might be a case of how can I say it? Sometimes you have a good business idea, the market is there, but if you don't package it well or do your due diligence, it might seem as unmet. It might be a case of a round peg in a square hole, it won't fit. So just like what she said earlier, you have to study the environment, because the market might be there, but if you're not presenting or profiling that business well, then people don't come to you. One thing I've tried to do, even with ministry and business, is that I don't create a sense of, I don't try to do something conventional. So you have to put yourself out there in a very unique way, and a way that is appealing to people. So first of all, you have to make sure this is in place. Secondly, what's the existing market like? What's the existing market? So, for example, maybe Airbnb. When I was going to start Airbnb business, for example, the first thing I did was to study the market in that area. I wanted an area where there were new builds, where the building alone is catchy. You know, so I looked at the market in the area. I studied for almost a month. I was studying what they were doing, what the occupancy rate was. I thought, oh, this is good market, I'll go here. So this is how you know whether your market or your, because I don't sell product, I sell service. So this is how you know whether you'll be acceptable. Check the existing market. What is it like? What is it saying? I haven't done that. Make sure you profile that business very well. Don't let it be misrepresented, because that can kill the business, even though when the market is there. So these are ways you test whether the market will be accepted. When I started cargo business, my daughter said, Daddy, what are you thinking? How did that come to your mind? I said, it doesn't matter how it came to my mind. What matters is I need the money. So the first thing I began to do, because I was thinking the law of Nigerians, influx of Nigerians into the country, and I thought, hang on, this is the market. You can't be wrong. Over 270 million people? Come on. You can't go wrong with influx of students and tier 2 visa and everything. So I saw that was the right time to plug in. So that's really how you know. And by the time you do it for like a few months, you see the turnout, you see the response. You can tell, you know, if you go digital, you know, check how you started, check the progress, where you are, put it on a graph, study the progression. You can tell if you are making progress or not. So these are things I did, and it sort of worked for me. Right. I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. Thank you very much. We'll be going into the question and answer session in a few minutes, so please get your questions ready. One question that I'm going to ask just before we move into question and answer is, I think I should ask this question, and I think it's important. Everybody wants to know, in case that's a business idea you want, and I'm going to ask both of you. How do you start a logistics business? How do you start A and B business? How do you start money transfer? How do you start fashion business? Like practical, this is what I did, this is what I bought, this is who I spoke to, and all of that.
Ladies first,
yes.
So like I said, well, for me, when I started, I just stumbled into it. I just stumbled into it. It was just based on what I liked. But obviously, if I'm going to advise you on how to go about, you have to do your research. Just going back to how to run a business, really. Do your research about the fashion industry, or about the hair industry, or about the, beauty industry. See what you like, see what people like, see what is in the market, what's in demand, and then test it. So don't go big, just maybe buy 1 or 2 products, or 3, and then try them on, style them. This is for fashion now. Style it, post your pictures, and then see the reaction of people. That will sort of help you decide on if you really want to do that, if it's in demand or not. Because you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to buy like £1,000 worth of goods, and then it just sits in your house because people don't want it, or you don't know how to market it, or you don't know, or you've got like imposter syndrome. You're like, oh, I don't know, what should I do? Should I just say, oh, I'm selling this, or just post the picture and say, come and buy, come and buy? So those are things you look at. And honestly, just if you want to start a business, just start it. Most people like overthink it. They do all the research in the world. They check this, check that, check that, check that. Oh, it's not perfect. Oh, my website needs to be perfect. But initially, when you're starting, it's never perfect. It never becomes perfect anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So just test a few things. Try, like I said, if it's product based, start with a few. If it's service based as well, just start small as well. So
Okay, start small. You don't always have to open a shop.
Yes, you don't always have. It doesn't have to be brick and mortar. Just start small.
Yeah. All right, Pastor Dako.
Okay, so how we started logistic business, like I said earlier, it was out of quest for more. And that's not greed, you know. The Bible says, "Ask until your joy is full." So, like I said, the kind of life I want to live, I knew 9 to 5 would not be enough for me, regardless of how much they pay me. So, we started with, actually, was Airbnb we started with before we came into the cargo business. So it was out of quest for more. I would normally go for real estate seminars. I invested so much time, bought books, read them, watched a lot of webinars, you know, listened to a lot of messages. Pastor Matthew has been my long-time mentor. Pastor Matthew Ashimolu is somebody who has changed the face of business and ministry for color people in the whole of Europe, not just in the United Kingdom. So he's always been a mentor from the days of Winning Ways. I would listen to his messages. It inspired me because when I was growing up in Nigeria, we were made to believe that there's no money in the UK. People in the UK are very stingy. If you want to make money, go to the US. But then I watched Pastor, you know, was doing fine. God was helping the ministry. And I'm thinking, he has results. So I was following his ministry back to back. There are books I read, I'm like, I'm wasting time. So that was my first motivation. And I'll go to these real estate seminars. And so that was how I started. And the first strategy I started was the Airbnb one. So we got an apartment, we made it up, and started making money. So to answer your question, it was out of quest for more. But how I started was to start attending seminars, read books. I went to a friend of mine, well, not my friend, like a younger sister to my wife. A friend of the family went to her. She had started at the time. She sort of taught me how to do it. Then I have another big brother who is doing it. I took time to sit at their feet to learn it. You see, one thing I realize about people is sometimes you'll be like, oh, she's younger than me, or I don't have, for me, I don't care. Once you have what I need, I come to you and I sit down to learn. Your pastor here is my very good friend and brother. I learn so much from him. What makes variation in the life of men is not just their height or their color. It's what they know that you don't know. So, and if you can know the same, you can do the same. So I learned from people and I started the Airbnb business. For the cargo business, again, when the Airbnb was doing well, I thought, hang on, we can diversify, we can do something new. Then the idea of the cargo came. I started making my research again, look for people that had results in that area. And that was how I started. Then from there, I began to look at loopholes of how to not just work, but make money. For me, I'm more commercial than just having to do the work. There are guys that do this full-time. They carry all the heavy stuff. I'm not mocking them. They still make money. But for me, I'm looking for the commercial aspect of things where I can make my money. I can outsource guys that will carry and do the lifting. But how do I still make my money despite the... So that was how we started, really.
Yeah. So with the Airbnb business, did you buy a house? Do you have
No,
houses? Do you own the houses?
Well, interestingly, we don't own the house. Although we're looking to buy it, but we don't own the house. But because we are waiting to own the house, it will take a very long time. Now, by God, we can afford to buy, but then the owner wouldn't sell because the market is there, you know. But don't always wait till you can buy.
Yeah.
You know, you can start. It's like you renting a house and you renting it out overnight. It's called rent to rent. That's the strategy name. So don't wait till you can buy. You can rent a place, make it up. Truthfully speaking, some agents we don't want to give you if they know you are using it for Airbnb. You can look for a private landlord and write them a nice proposal that will attract them. Tell them you are assuring them of long tenancy. Or I'm not renting it out for 1 year, I'm renting for like 5 years. You know, something that makes them happy. Tell them you look after that. Because for Airbnb, it's review is the heartbeat of the business. Once you don't have good review, people don't come to you. So you tell them I'll make the house up. You'll be willing to put some extra touch into the house. And yeah, that's it really. And once they are happy, because it's a win-win for them. Long tenancy, they don't want to pay agents. You are going to look after the house. And you are telling them that don't worry, there's nothing to lose. They'll give the house to you.
All right, thank you very much. I could go push further on to ask specific questions about starting these businesses, but I just want let us go into the question and answer session now. So if you have a question, please just put up your hand and we'll pass the mic across. Okay, please.
Oh, hi. My name is Emmanuel. So my first question is, how do you deal with competitors? I guess the reason why I'm asking is because some competitors are kind of like, have this longevity and, status and all that. Because I work in an investment bank, and I was looking into trying to diversify into like recruitment, and because there was this consultancy firm we use, and we had like, so basically when we have findings, we need like a structure to pull the findings, and we use like an Excel spreadsheet. So this consultancy firm that we use, they got paid like 100,000 just to create an Excel spreadsheet. So I was just thinking about it. But when you have competitors like Reed, LinkedIn, other job markets, how do you deal with it? And my second question was, you said, your challenges is you would have to like reimburse customers. Obviously that's not sustainable.
Yes.
It's not sustainable. So when do you think that's like, you can't go overboard with pleasing the customers?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I'll start from the second one so I don't forget. First of all, for every business you must have your, I don't want to say rules, I'll say terms and conditions. So when I issue you an invoice, you must read the terms and conditions. But unfortunately, people of color, we don't read. I'm sorry to say, we don't really read. So somebody, you give them the invoice with the terms and conditions and say, oh, please don't contact us in the next 7 days when your goods arrive. Following, they are asking you, is my goods in Nigeria? So there's terms and conditions. And once somebody is in breach of the terms and conditions, then you are not liable to pay them anything. Mm-hmm. However, there are times when it's a bottleneck, when you feel, okay, you assess the condition, and common sense will tell you, okay, that's fine, they are due this. I'll give an example. So a customer one time gave us their bag, and for some reason, it was a rush hour. We loaded about 3 containers back to back or 4 at a time, and we couldn't find the bag. So I said to them, look, for some reason we can't find the bag. This is a very extreme and rare case. Even DHL misplaced things, so don't let that alarm you. So I said to them, we can't find the bag. So it will trigger compensation events. And I said, what's in the bag? And they said to me, clothes. I said, that's fine. Can I have the invoices for them? Because I'm going to escalate this to the insurance company. Again, as a business, you must insure yourself. Otherwise, you will run into liability. By the way, those payouts, I don't pay them from my pocket. I also escalate some to the insurance company. That's some out of good gesture. I pay them. It's not a lot of money. So you must also have that system in place, sometimes. So they said to me, oh, there's no invoice. I said, so what's the worth of the stuff? And they said, this was 4 years ago. And they said, £700 or £699. And I'm like, well, fortunately, if you don't have an invoice to prove what's there, then it's difficult for me to make a payout. Even if it was DHL, they'll ask you, do you have a proof of the items in the bag? And, I said, well, out of good gesture, I want to ensure continuity. You've been doing business with me for a while. I'll pay you $250. That's fair enough. And they were like, oh, no, I'm not going to have it. I want the $699. I said, well, unfortunately, I can't help you. If I can't present them to the insurance, there's nothing to do. So that kind of situation those are ways you assess the situation, if you get what I mean. Somebody says, I have this in the bag and they are brand new. They should have invoice for it. So it's more of assessing and knowing what to do. And of course, you're having a system that also bears your liability. You don't want to shoulder it alone, otherwise you run out of business. So have an insurance company that also shoulders your liability when need be. The other one about competition, I think it's part of what makes business to be very interesting. Monopoly is good, but sometimes, again, competition helps you to work hard. In Medway, there are more than 4 cargo companies or 5. And that's not, I'm not perturbed. It's not to be arrogant, but I'm not perturbed because the market is there, everybody can thrive, So I'll say don't let that discourage you. You still need to launch out. By the way, recruitment company, they are making a lot of money. I told my wife about 4 years ago, I said, because the Lord said to me that the care sector is a gold mine, is a diamond mine, I beg your pardon. That was exactly what God told me. He said the care sector in England is a diamond mine, yet unexplored. I said it's time to launch into the care sector. She didn't listen. Next thing, less than a year, boom, this COS thing they're doing now. I can imagine how much recruitment companies have made from this COS of a thing. So I would say if you want to start, don't let that discourage you. The big names will always be there. The likes of UPS, FedEx, DHL have always been there before people like us started. And You can't go wrong. UK has 79 million people. The market is there. You still make your own. And with the God factor, you will thrive. So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah. Mrs. Maria, is there anything you would like to add?
He said it all, because I was getting some points from there as well. And because it's a service-based business as well, I agree. And he's in that field, isn't it? So, yes, I think he's given him like really good advice in that area.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Your question, sir?
Okay, good afternoon. Yeah, my question is basically on 3 points. I think the principles are clear, but my challenge is about the strategies. Principles don't change. When you establish a principle, whether you are in Asia or anywhere, the principles are
That's
the same.
right.
Now, what is the major challenge here with the people of color, I think, is about the strategy. And I would like you to talk on, maybe you can give expansion on identifying in terms of creating businesses, in terms of innovation and USP, unique selling proposition. Nothing is new.
Okay.
When you are starting any business, even technology and everything is not new, it's just an innovation, right? So how do you identify? It's not just about starting A, B, and B, it's just not about cargo businesses like you said. People are doing it. What are you supposed to do to bring innovation, to bring a unique selling point which makes you different from others? Little things that will make yours absolutely different from others. That's my first question on my first part on identification.
Okay.
So I would like to speak on innovation and USP.
Okay.
And the second one is on what I would call taxation. You talked about avoidance and
Evasion.
evasion. Evasion is a crime.
Yeah.
Avoidance isn't a crime.
No.
So on what steps can you avoid tax? We know the basic things. You understand? What strategies can you use in avoiding tax? Because what the rich people use, why you create business is to create wealth.
That's right.
And the purpose of creating wealth is to avoid paying some things, right?
Well,
When you-
not necessarily, but of course it helps you to avoid some things.
that's in fact that's what Robert Kiyosaki said in Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's
Correct.
elementary.
Correct.
Yeah. So when I work 7 to 5, nobody pays for my rent.
No.
But when I'm the CEO, my rent is part of my expenses.
Correct. Even your car.
Yeah. So what are those categories of things that are not exempted, that are not included in avoidance? So we need to be clear, because this is a new, for most of us, this is a new jurisdiction. It's unlike Nigeria. And I would like to correct an impression that Nigeria, we don't pay taxes. We do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But we know how to avoid.
So tax avoidance is what people like Dangote's, the Elumelis,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
all those big people. That's what they use. So I would like you to touch on that also. And the third one, which I'm trying to build, which I think is a problem for people of color mostly, is about system building. I've observed over the years that we find it difficult to build systems. So how, as a black person, as a person of color, how do you build systems? So that, because the essence of entrepreneurship is to make things run when even you are not there.
Correct.
So how do we do that? Those are my questions.
Thank you, sir. In case I forget, you have to reiterate. But let me start from the last one, building system. Oh, do you want to go first?
Oh no, I'm listening.
Okay. Okay. So, like I said earlier, as nothing big starts big, as you progress in your entrepreneurial journey, you need to intentionally look for how to begin to create systems. So, for example, it depends on what you're doing. Like I said for myself now, I know I do 9 to 5. People could want to reach me. I can't pick my phone every time on my desk. And so I created a system whereby if you go on our website, it triggers "You're welcome. How may we help you today?" Immediately somebody picks and says, once you respond, somebody says, okay, this and this and this is your response. So without having to talk to me, I've created a system that can answer your query. Because the people that call you, hello, is this Comfort Cargo? I want to cargo to Nigeria. What is your price? That's just what they want to ask, But I've made a system that, they can get that answer, even from the fact questions, they can get the response without having to call me. So that's a system, for example. It's about looking at what you do and looking at possibility of reduce. In project management, it's called, this Six Sigma, Lean, Agile. It's a way of cutting time. So you have to look at what you do and then create what engenders smooth running without yourself. So that's how you begin to build system. And over time, you expatiate on doing that. Talking about taxation, which is your third question, if I'm correct, there is always allowable. Now the government too is getting smart. So they are beginning to cut on something. The first thing you need to know is that as a company director, there's certain threshold which you are allowed. Maybe after the stuff, we can have a chat on that. But basically, of course, you can claim expenses on your travel, because you see, for every car that you call an official car, it's called benefit in kind, which is taxable. Which is taxable. So, but there's a way. I believe there are accountants in this place. Are there accountants here?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. So there's a way you go about it. But yeah, ordinarily your travel, people will tell you, oh, you can claim on your clothes, you can claim on your pen, stationery. It's true, but there's a way you do it. There's a way you do it. But like I said, after the meeting, we can talk about it. And of course, my sister here can do a bit of more justice to that. But yes, avoidance is not a crime. It is evasion that is a crime. Then the other one you ask is, the principles don't change. It's just how to start. I think for me, and it's not to be arrogant, I think it's a grace. I just tend to spot business in everything. The other day I was visiting my pastor friend. Pastor, this. I told him straight away. I think it's just a grace for me. Again, it depends on the location. You can take time to study. Like for example, people are here now, some of us 2 years, 3 years. You need to study the system. In fact, for us as a church, one of the burden in my heart is that people must understand the system this year. Because a system you don't understand, you can't conquer. And you can recycle years here and pray, pastor will prophesy upon you, and nothing will change. So the first thing is to study the system. How does things run in the United Kingdom? I want to buy a mortgage. How does the mortgage system work? I think it's about knowledge to start with. Because you see, information will make a man. The difference between myself and Dangote is not the age, it's what he knows that I don't know. So in being intentional about building a successful business or perpetuating wealth, you need knowledge. The Bible says you shall know the truth, and the truth. So the truth will not set you because it's because you know it. There's a knowledge dimension to every liberation. So it is what you know that sets you free. So, for example, this is Medway. What can I do? I was in Rainham yesterday. I'll give this for free. And I picked one of I was christening a baby. I remember put to bed and I was doing the baby christening yesterday. And a lady said, Pastor, are you going towards Rochester? Can I have a lift? So I gave her a lift and we were just talking. And she said, Pastor, do you know we have to go to Chatham to go and buy African food? I said, really? So you mean there's no African shop in Rainham? Straight away, there's a gap. It's about studying the environment, knowing what the need of the people is. So that's it, really.
All right, thank you very much. On the question of taxes, you can see him in camera. You can also see Sister Morinka in camera. We're just going to wrap up this session, and I hope that our speakers will be here with us till the end, our networking section, so that we can speak to them and ask any other additional questions that we have. And just before you go, just give us one closing statement, important message that you want us to go away with. And who wants to go first? You want to go first? Okay.
I'll just say, if there's a business that's really pressing on your heart and it's been there for a long time and you're thinking it up and down and you're like, I don't know how to start, I don't know what to do, just do it. Just take that bold step and do it. That's all I would say.
All right, thank you. Pastor Dapo.
Okay, so the same for me. If you're looking to start a business, I'll just say, don't let anything stop you. Just start anyway. Nothing big starts big. Start small and trust God to help you. You know the story of Peter when he said, Master, if you be thou, ask me to come. The guy launched out of the boat and the Bible said was walking towards Jesus. But then he saw the wind boisterous and he began to drown. And he said, Master, save me. I said immediately Jesus stretched his hand and rescued him. And that was what I told my wife a few years back. I said, listen, let's put our heart into this. And if it's going wrong, let's trust God to help us. So don't let anything stop you. You launch out and do what you want to do. Nothing big starts big. In fact, let me say this, I don't care how well you earn, your salary will not make you rich. In fact, it's the bribe they give you for you to forget your dreams. Yeah. So make sure you reason beyond your salary. And if you are having a burden of starting in your heart, just start and trust God to help you. That's it, really.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Maria and Pastor Dapo. We appreciate you for accepting our invitation. We've learned so much today. Thank you so much. Praise the Lord. So just start. Nothing big starts big. Just start small, even if it's only one customer that you have. Praise God. So we're moving on to the next session, and this session is on finances, and it will be delivered by Mrs. Morenike Ashaju. I'm just going to introduce her for a few minutes, and then she's going to come up. She's a fellow of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, with over 20 years of experience across multiple industries, including not-for-profits, manufacturing, retail, legal, telecommunications, communications, and most recently the construction sector as a financial controller. She's also the co-founder of a logistics company called Most Place. She's a passionate Bible teacher dedicated to helping individuals discover and embrace their identity in Christ, with a particular focus on empowering youth and young adults. She's a writer and regular contributor to her personal blog, as well as several magazines and books. I'm interested in knowing the name of your blog so that we can follow it. Please tell us when you come here. So please welcome Mrs. Morenike as she comes to deliver her presentation. There will also be question and answer, so.
Hallelujah. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Sir Zama. All right, we've had an interesting time so far, so we'll go straight into it so we can have some Q&A. Can I have the presentation up, please? So we've started. I'm going to run a bit fast. Most of what we'll be discussing most of what I put up was just put there as a follow-up to what has been answered, so we'll skip those slides. Can we have the slides up? Thank you. All right, so we're in Navigate Business, and we'll be looking at funding and finance right now, and touching on tax. For tax in the UK, just to bring that in Nigeria, kind of like the accountant was expected to be a know-it-all. You kind of had to do everything. Here in the UK, we have tax experts, so there are those who are specialists in it. So I can give you a general overview of how the tax works, but to really get into it, you would need a tax expert, someone who's specializing in tax and how it works in the UK. Can we go to the first slide? So it's an exciting journey ahead. We've talked about how to start your business. Just to chip in here that, especially for most of us that are migrants coming into here, you need to look at the conditions of your visa before you start a business. Some of our visas do not permit us to start a business so that you don't fall foul of the law. So in as much as we want to start a business, please check the conditions of your visa. So just to say that. So whether you are growing a business or you're starting a new one, let's start focusing. Next slide, please. I'm just going to keep going. Just go with me. All right. So after you've decided on a business you want to start, we now want to talk of the funding. Now, three things came to my heart when I was given this topic, and it had to do with costing, funding, and reporting. And they are all linked, because if you don't know the cost of what you want to sell, how would you be able to fund it? If you don't report it properly, it would affect your funding also. So those three are key. So that's what came to my heart in preparing for this. So that's what I was thinking. The first one, planning and strategy, a lot of it has been discussed, so I'm not going to say much there because of time. Financial management, we'll dig into it, and marketing positioning, Amarachi will do justice, because no matter the business you're doing now, remember that your audience is not just the people you see physically. We are in a social media age now. The world is literally your market. So if you're selling, if you want to start, and you are not on the web, you are shortchanging yourself. That's the first thing. So it doesn't matter. We've all been encouraged to start. So start. But while you're starting, remember that you need to position yourself well so that you can be seen out. Let's go on, please. Next slide. So understand your customer purchasing behavior. Now, many times we think our customers are, because you know the value of what you want to sell, your customer will not always accept your own thought. We are, as we are all sitting here, we are both consumers and producers. When you want to buy something and they say the price, in your head, you are analyzing that amount. Is it worth it? Is it not? And that's what we need to understand. People don't make decisions mainly on the intrinsic value of it. That's why a bottle of water on the road, if we're in Nigeria, you could buy a bottle of water for, I know it's gone up now, then 50 naira. You go to a hotel, totally different price. You go to the airport or a lounge, a totally different price. But it is the same bottle of water. But in different places, people still buy it. So we need to understand, it's not so much as it's how your customer perceives your product that determines the pricing. Pricing is important in all our business dealings. Let's note that. There are other factors that play a role. Let's go on, please. So, perceived value. So what a customer, that's why the art of negotiating comes in. That's why your customer can try to negotiate price with you that, okay, how much? Because in their head, so everyone obviously wants to feel like the end goal of every negotiation is for the customer to feel like they saved something. You know, that they saved something. And so that's what you need to put into consideration. In pricing everything, in pricing your business, you need to take into consideration. It's not just because in your mind, oh, I bought this, or I'm offering this service, and this is how much it costs. How much would my customer be willing to pay for this? We need to know that. Let's go on, please. So, there are also some myths about money that this came and I said, let's talk about it. Many people believe once they just have the money, let me just have 10,000 pounds now, business is set. That's not how it works, right? That's not how it works. It's not just about getting the money. So getting the money is one part. It is an important part, don't get me wrong, but that's not it. We can't just start. Another one people think is, once I start selling, it's cash flow. That means money will start coming in. That's not it either. Now, if you're a new business and you're selling one-to-one and you're getting cash, your sales might equal cash flow, but then we're talking small term. If you're talking of scaling and becoming bigger and you want to start dealing with businesses, then you need to understand that there will be terms, there'll be conditions. Some companies, you sell to them, they give you 30, 60, 90 days terms. That means you buy today, they won't pay you until end of June. So you need to factor these things in, that because I'm selling a product does not mean that money is going to be coming in immediately. And that means you need to know how to plan your working capital, your cash, so that you don't run out before your business gets there. Let's go on, please. So, understanding your costing and pricing strategy. Since we said this will be practical, I did put some lessons. So we're going to do a little bit of accounting lessons just to help us know some basics in understanding how to calculate. So costing essentials. It's essential to do feasibility studies. I'm not going to talk about that. That has been addressed. We need to understand our cost-benefit analysis. Analyze what's the cost, what's the benefit of this. You need to do that. And you need to determine break-even point. I'm going to focus more on the last two because of time. You need to know your break-even point. Break-even point, you know what, let's go to the next slide. I have it there. Break-even point is a point at which whatever you're selling, you're not making a profit, you're not making a loss. That is where your sales equal to your cost. So I'm going to stay here just so that we can look at it together. Okay, so the concept of break-even is where your total revenue equals no profit, no loss. Everyone who is doing a business has to understand that. I can move, sorry. Everyone who is doing a business has to understand that. It is very key for you to know that point. If not, you will not make a profit when doing business. You need to know that point. And there are three key components to calculating your break-even. You need to know your selling price. You need to know your variable cost. Variable costs are costs that vary per unit of product or service that you offer. So they are not fixed. And then you need to know your fixed cost. When you start a business, you have fixed costs. Those are costs that whether you sell one, or you sell 1,000, or you sell nothing, you still incur that cost. So if you have a brick and mortar shop, you have a shop, then you're paying your electricity. Whether or not you sell one, you will pay your light bill. Whether or not you sell, you pay the rent or mortgage on your building. That's a fixed cost. You need to know this cost. These are things you need to factor in. So I put a small example there, just something to help us. Like I said, we're trying to make this as practical as possible so that we can apply it. So using a custom t-shirt business, if we say, okay, t-shirt, I want to sell it for £20, my variable cost, £8, and my fixed cost, £6,000. That's my rent, salaries, if I have any, electricity, all of that. It goes in there. You need to know your break-even. If you're selling units, products, you need to know it in units, you need to know it in value. So break-even is calculated basically by taking your fixed cost, because it's a function of your fixed cost, and dividing it by the difference of your variable cost and your selling price. So my selling price is £20. I take out my variable cost, I divide it. That means I have to sell at least 500 units to break even to start. And that means 500 units. When I sell 500 units, I've gotten to the point where I don't make a profit, I don't make a loss. But anything, by the time I start selling 501 units, I've started making profit, because I've covered all my costs at that point. So we need to, when you're starting a business, this is one of the key components in determining your selling price also. Because if you don't know at what point you get to make a profit or make a loss, you just quote a price, or you just give discounts arbitrarily. Somebody come out and say, oh, okay, I'll sell it for this. And then you go back and you're like, I'm not making profit. You need to know this. Let's go to okay, and then in revenue, so 500 units means I multiply that by my selling price, and then that means I need to make 10,000 in revenue to cover my cost. Now this 10,000 is basically 6,000 to cover my fixed cost and 4,000 to cover my variable cost, which is 8 times 500 units. Remember, variable cost varies based on the number of units you sell. So that means I need £10,000 in revenue. So in any particular month, I need to make more than 500 units. I need to sell more than 500 units to make profit. If I don't sell 500 units, I made a loss that month. Does this make sense? All right. All right, let's go to the next slide. Understanding cost, volume, profit analysis. This is a continuation. Because we're starting a new business, we need to understand all this in doing our numbers. Cost, volume, profit analysis, the definition there says it's a financial tool that helps businesses understand how cost, sales volume, and profit, how they interact. So it helps in decision making related to pricing, sales targets, and cost control. We're still using the same example of our t-shirt business. Selling price, £20. Our fixed cost is still 6,000 and variable cost is 8,000. Now, we need to first of all know our contribution margin. What is contribution margin? It means that for every unit I sell, what does that contribute to my profit? That's where the name contribution comes. So it's basically selling price minus variable cost. Sorry, what does it contribute to my cost, to the fixed cost? So selling price minus variable cost gives me £12 using this. That means each unit contributes £12 towards covering fixed cost and generating profit. We're going somewhere with that. So profit calculation for 700. Remember, we need 500 to break even based on our last calculation. So if we sold for 700 units, if we sold 700 units for any particular month, we would say we made what? 200 units extra in profit. So total contribution is 700 times 12. We have 8,400. Then the profit will be the total contribution minus fixed costs, which is 2,400. So selling 700 gives us 2,400. Selling 500 gives us 0 profit. This just breaks it down a bit more. So what does this let us know? Higher sales volume equals to higher profit. Higher sales volume. The more we sell, lower variable costs or higher prices increase that. So the more this goes down or this goes up, it gives us better margin to contribute. Remember, because fixed cost doesn't change, it's fixed regardless. So that's the one we really want to cover. We can manage the variable cost based on what we sell, but fixed cost, there's nothing we can do about it. So it's useful for setting sales targets and pricing strategies. That's what this is for. Let's go to the next one. So this is, if we have questions, we can still go over that. So what are some pricing strategies? We want to just look at a few of them. We've talked about identifying your cost per unit or your cost per hour if you're offering services. You need to know that. What is my cost? And that allows you know, based on the break-even analysis, lets you know the lowest you can come to. So even when because some people price their products high and then they just give discounts. And many times the discounts are counted in is calculated in your head. You just kind of like, I'll sell it for this and give you 30% discount. But you don't know what value that 30% or how it impacts your final numbers. So you need to understand your fixed costs. We've talked about that. And then you need to be able to calculate your markup or margin. Markup or margin. Margin is what we call profit, and that is usually calculated on sales. Most people don't know the difference between markup and margin. Markup is on cost, margin is on sales. 60% margin and 60% markup are not the same thing. They don't give you the same profit figure. So we need to know. So this is a little example also, just to let us see that. So for margin, if we say okay, this is a definition, is a percentage of revenue that remains as profit after covering costs. So the formula is selling price minus cost over selling price. And so if the t-shirt sells for 20, it costs £8, margin will be 60% of each sales. And margin is not the same as your net profit. There are still some other costs that may still come in there. You need to bear that in mind. But it's telling you that 60% of each sale is profit. Markup, this is on cost. So where we are deducting 20 minus 8 over 20, this is over 8, which is the cost. And so it's giving us 150%. So the selling price is 150% higher than cost. But here, for margin, it is 60% of each sale that is regarded as profit. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, okay. So the key difference is margin is on selling price, markup is on cost. So whichever one you want to use in setting your prices, pick one of them so that there is no confusion, whether you are working on cost or you're working on selling price. So a 60% margin is not a 60% markup. Markup is always higher because it's on cost. All right, next slide, please. And so in doing our cost, I thought to put this in. It's important for us to have standards, a recipe, a formula for how we do our things and how we. So, for instance, you go to KFC. If you go to KFC here in Medway, in Gillingham, or you go to KFC in Maidstone, the chicken is the same. The milkshake is the same. It's the same thing for our products. If we want to do something, let there be some kind of standardization. That's why we do packaging and all of that for our products. Let there be, have a formula, have a uniformity to what you sell so that people know that, oh, okay, this person, number one, is serious. This person knows what they're doing. Ensure every product meets quality and cost expectation. Let them buy it today, buy it tomorrow, and let it be the same thing. If not, these are the things that affect your pricing, that affect because people then feel like, last week if you say it's supposed to be 1 kilo or 500 grams, let it be 500 grams every single time. If the color is supposed to be brown, let it not be another color the next time they bought it. Let it be the same. That way, your pricing is not affected because people will always come back and renegotiate based on how your product varies to them. And that helps us improve efficiency and scalability. All right, next one. I think we're coming to the end and we'll take some questions. Sources of funds, a lot of this has already been discussed. There are basically two categories. And in raising funds, it's important to note that you decide how you want your business to be. In raising some funds, you lose some control over how your company is run. If you, for instance, just like Pastor said, if you get investors, they will take a share of your business. They will have a say in how your business is run. So if you want to do it, me, myself, and I don't want anybody to, then you can't go that route. You need to understand the different routes of business. So you can do personal savings, your own salaries, bootstrapping as they call it, whether from your personal income or however it is. That's one source. You can borrow from friends and family. I think that's one of the cheapest sources of funding everyone can take advantage of, or what do we call it? Ajo. Or What is ajo in English? Thrift, that's the word, thank you. So thrift, where a group of people come together, they contribute a particular amount on a monthly basis and they rotate who gets it. That's another way. So that's where friends and family. Bank loans, which is in interest. The bank just need, but in all of this, we'll still go to reporting. Banks won't give you any money until they see your reports that are clean, that show that you know what you're doing. So that's the importance of reporting. That's for bank loan, because whatever loan they give you is secured against your business. It's secured against your business. If you don't pay them back, they come and take your business. You know, government grants, you can check for whichever one. There are different specific industries that may be. So go to gov.uk, like has been mentioned, and read up on this thing. There are different grants that come up from time to time. Crowdfunding is also another way. If you're one of those who are very, able to do that, then you can. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Now these are for those who are scaling, want to go bigger, and you don't mind giving a share of your business out to get this money in. So you can get angel investors, you can get venture capital, invoice financing. Invoice financing is basically borrowing against unpaid invoices, but you have to have gotten to a certain level, really. And this works, for instance, in construction, or really any business can do invoice finances, because you're basically borrowing from the bank against invoices that you've issued but hasn't been paid, especially if the invoices are not due to be paid until 30, 60, 90 days, long time, and you need the money now. The bank will give you the money, bearing in mind that you're expecting this money to come back. Now, you still have to chase and get this money in, because the bank will chase you for it, but that's a source of fund. You can use your business credit card, but we've been told if you are not, we need to take into consideration interest rates on credit cards, the impact if you do not pay it back, and then it depends on how much you want to use. I personally won't advise using your credit cards if you don't have to. Don't go there. And then IPO, if you want to really go big, open and this is you going into the stock market. So there are many sources of funding that we can take advantage of. Including the last one now, reporting. Now, I don't need to tell us that it is important for us to report. Now, for many of us coming from African countries or Nigeria, where we haven't been held accountable to a large extent, so many of us are not used to this. It's key for us to have our proper documentation here. If you are doing any business now, the gov.uk website says that you don't have to register a business until you make maybe about £1,000, then you need to register. So you don't need to register it immediately, but if you are going to make above £1,000, you need to register that business. That's key. So, but as soon as you register that business, then you're committed to submitting annual returns. You're committed to submitting your tax returns, all that, and you need the report to do that. So unless you have not started the business, by the time you start, you need to have your documentation in place, because the HMRC, they can come and do an audit. And they do come to do audits. Oh, they come and they will ask you for everything. So, and this is about you keeping documentation, keeping receipts. So, just like it has been asked, that claiming back expenses for tax and all of that, you can claim all that back, but when they come, they want to see documentation for all of that. So it is very important in business, keep all your, scan them, have them, whatever the receipt is, have it scanned and saved somewhere. Keep it, they check records for up to 6 years back or more, depending. Keep them. Anything you are keeping, anything you are claiming that you are, your expenses or whatever, keep all your receipts. Get an invoice. For every business you're doing, get an invoice. There should always be a backing documentation. If you're a new business just starting, you're kind of like jack of all trades. Just like has been said, you do everything. So it is key that you keep all this documentation. As you grow bigger, you can have someone who would help do that, but keep all these receipts. They are key. So we are steward. Accurate reporting ensures transparency, accountability, and informed decision making. Plus, it also helps you track your financial performance. It helps you see how you were doing. If you are not tracking, if you don't have it documented, how do you know whether you're doing better, what needs to be improved? Because if you put your numbers side by side, month on month, then you see, okay, my cost went up this month. What happened? What did I buy? What didn't I buy? This money hasn't come in. If you are not tracking, you wouldn't know. That's what your reporting does. Next slide, please. So there are different apps, free, most of them, that you can use as a small business, as a new business just starting up. Xero, QuickBooks, Sage. There are, even your bank, your bank, I know, is it NatWest, offers you one of the free agents that you can use. So your bank can give you an app that can track your finances for you. So it links it straight from your bank statement. All your transactions from your bank statement automatically goes into the app. So all you need to do is go in there and kind of put it in the right categories where it should be. So that automates your bookkeeping, your invoicing, your reconciliation. It clears it out and it helps you so that by the end of the day or month or whenever it is you're doing your recon, you can easily know, how much tax am I to pay or prepare for, and all of that. And I think we've come to the end. Next one, let's see, how many more is left? So basically, just explaining more the importance. It's essential for tax compliance, for investor relations. You want people to give money to your business. They want to see how the business is doing. So just as Pastor and she said, sorry, it's important that even if it's family and friends that are giving you this money, they want to know that you know what you are doing. Building a network is not just having people around you. They need to know that you know what you are doing. They need to know that whatever it is you're doing, you have a direction and you are reporting. And so somebody gives you money, you let them know how the business is doing, what it is, how it's doing. Business went well this month. Give updates. All right, I've been told my time is up. So I think that's the last, that's the last one. So, question and answer. I say I have a few minutes for questions. Do we have any questions before I leave this wonderful place? Any questions, or have I been able to? Yes, sir.
Let me quickly ask. So, when you're explaining about average cost, all those mathematics you're doing, unfortunately I don't understand mathematics. So, but one thing I understand is that I understand principles. I remember that they said, sorry, my voice is loud, everybody can hear me. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So, when you're talking about the average variable cost, you are calculating 20%, 20 something. So, I know that from my elementary economics, we're taught that when you run a business, you can still run a business when you meet your average variable cost in the short run. That your fixed cost is not something you should bother about at the time you are running a business. So my thinking is that how long will you take to keep on breaking even, like you said? I'm not making profit. I'm just running my average variable cost. I need to pay for electricity. I need to pay for this. If that continues for like 1 year, will I be able to survive in the business? That's my thinking. That for how long will that go? And secondly, I picked a point about when you don't make up to £1,000, you don't need to register your business or anything. I know people that do businesses that are not registered. And I'm wondering, do they pay taxes? When they do, because I know people that have their private cars, they do airports, pick up and all those stuff. It's a business and they make money. I wouldn't know maybe they're able to make £1,000 or not, but I'm wondering, how do you pay tax for that? Maybe they do pay taxes for that, I don't know. So those are the gray areas I'm thinking about.
Okay, I'll start with the second one. Well, I wouldn't know whether they're paying taxes or not either, but what the rules say is that once you earn up to £1,000 for any business, you should register that business. Now, they may be doing it, sir. Once your business, you start and you've hit 1,000 in revenue, you should register that business. So it doesn't matter whether that 1,000 is a full year, 1 month, 1 week, 1 day. Register that business. sales revenue, once you start, your business revenue gets to that amount. Now, revenue and profit. So even if you don't make a profit, you still need to register, and you can always, for businesses, you can always claim back losses. They allow you to roll. If you make a loss this year, for instance, you start a business, you make a loss, you can always use that loss against future profits, thereby reducing your tax. So obviously, if you make a loss, they won't ask you to pay tax. You won't pay tax if there's a loss on your business. But that loss, they allow you to kind of save it, and a year where you make profit, they allow you to offset some of that loss against it, and then that reduces the tax you pay. So you can do that. So, but let's stay on the right side of the law. Register your business if it's above, but note the conditions. If your visas, your stay, your residence permit does not allow you to register a business or be a business. So I know there are some categories that don't allow that. Your dependent is free to, but you as the principal may not be allowed to. So let your dependent register the business if you want to. Don't do it yourself. Don't put your visa and your stay here in jeopardy for that reason. So go to the gov.uk website and look at this. Then secondly, you talked about the short-term variable cost. Well, what we were taught then and what is in practice now are different. It might be possible, but it can work if you don't have any fixed cost. But here, in this country, because I will use it as a case study where we are, you pay rent by the week, by the month, by the year. That's a fixed cost. It's not variable. Whether you sell one or you don't sell none, you're not going to tell your landlord to wait. So that is a cost that you need to take into factor. Now, if you are not breaking even, then that allows you to go back and look at your numbers. Do I need to check my pricing strategy? Am I pricing too low? Or is my marketing weak? Do I need to sell more? Do I need to add more products into my product portfolio? Maybe I'm just selling one product. It's not carrying it. Just like Pastor said in the beginning, we need to have more than, just like we can have multiple stream of income, we can also, in one stream of income, we can have multiple products servicing that business. So she mentioned she's not just doing hairstyling, she's selling makeup, she's selling hair. So have multiple and preferably related products so that they feed and they support each other, so that one can help the other. Pastor talked about how he's had to move money from the money market into the real estate to help out. That helps you so that it removes the need for you to start looking for funding. Okay, sorry, sir. Yeah, we have one question here. Yes. Okay. After that question.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation, and I'm glad that you used the illustration of shirts in your variables and other things. We deal in shirts, suits, ties, okay, and fashions in Nigeria. Okay. Then coming to the UK, we are looking at, because we've been in the industry for over 15 years, so we're looking at replicating something like that in the UK. And back on the high street, we checked out that on the average rent is like £2,000 in a month. Now we are coming from a location whereby the rent is just barely £500 in a year. And we are selling, I checked the competitors, what did they do and how did they sell. Shirt, for example, H&C, the likes, sell shirts for maybe £25 and they'll tell you that promo, buy for £100. Now that we are coming from a position that will sell similar things in Nigeria, are probably a good price as well. But here, how do we break into the market of the big players and also match up with your rent, which is a major factor? We're not even looking at overhead now. The rent, like £2,000. I saw your shop on the high street, Chatham, I was like, how much is it? I said £2,000. I said, wow. The other one said £1,500. So what I'm saying in a sense is, how do we go about these things and also break even and not run at a loss, open today, close after 6 months, and see how we can, if it is possible to do that business also without paying rent or getting a physical shop. I don't know how we can start something like that because it's really a burden while in the UK at the moment. Thank you.
Okay. I'll start with the second question. It is possible for you to start without getting a physical shop, especially since you're just starting. If you have space in your home, for instance, you can use a space in your home, and you can claim that as expenses on your accounts. So they would want to see what portion of your house you can allocate part of the electricity, part of to your business. So you don't have to open a shop to start with until the shop, having a brick and mortar shop, is able to sustain that cost. If not, then you might have to, if you're able to take the shop, if you really need to get a brick and mortar shop to start with, get that and wait until you're able to break even. Maybe increase your marketing, your social media presence, like she will talk about shortly. Do all of that to get the word out. Those are the two major ways I can think of right now. There may be more, but I would say start. You don't have to get a brick and mortar structure to start with. That is usually the highest cost for any business. Usually the highest. Getting that is usually the highest cost. So until you've gotten to where your revenue can sustain it, it might not be necessary for you to. If you can start in your house. You want to say something, sir? Okay.
So, thank you. Thank you. My question is, I just wanted to clarify, except I'm not getting it right. Break-even point, is that the same thing as your point of viability?
Okay, so I'm an accountant. We don't use point of viability, so I have to look that up and get back to you. Okay. But it's possible, just thinking of the word viable, it is possible. It could just be different terminologies, different. Okay. But it's the point at which, if point of viability means the point at which you don't make a profit, you don't make a loss, correct, then it's the same.
Where the business is sustained without having to fold up. But then, like he said, how do you survive when you're not making a profit? And for how long? But that's fine. You've answered my question. Thank you. Mm-hmm. For what you said, sir, you don't have to start with a shop. Like he said, it's the highest, cost you incur in a business. But if you have a car, why not target open market like High Street on Saturdays? Speak to the council, park your vehicle, hang your clothes, start working, speak to people, increase your social media presence, reinforce your digital capacity. Let people know what you do. Your wife can market as well, networking, word of mouth, your church, and all of that. In fact, you might even go as far as partnering with people that has a shop already on the high street. Can I put few clothes here, and I can give this in returns once I'm selling, but don't start with a shop.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much. That was very, very amazing. Our speakers are here after the session, so if you still have questions, please walk up to them. One of the things Pastor said was he's not ashamed to speak to anybody, so ask questions. And another thing that was said on the panel was research, and speaking to people is also research. So please, let's take advantage of their presence today. And if you're a member of our church, they are always here. So I'm going to invite Miss Amarachi Enoma to come up to talk to us about business marketing. I'm just going to say one paragraph just so that we can manage our time about her profile. She's sorry, my screen has gone off. Okay. Amarachi, sorry, I don't know. Let's start praying because I don't know why that isn't coming up again.
It's on the screen.
Okay. Amarachi is a digital marketing specialist with a strong foundation in social media marketing, content strategy, video marketing, and data analytics. She holds a master's degree in digital marketing analytics from the University of Kent, where she graduated with distinction. She has experience in brand marketing and social media strategy. She has successfully helped businesses optimize their digital presence, enhance engagement, and drive sales. Is that all? She also creates skincare, beauty, fashion, and lifestyle content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, leveraging her expertise in digital marketing to build an engaged online community and collaboration with brands. She's a member of the tech team in Great Salvation Church and creates engaging videos for the church social media platform. She's also a devoted teacher in the children's department of the church. Is that all? So please let's welcome Amarachi as she talks to us on how we can use social media to...
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I hope we're having a good time today. Okay, before I start, aside from our guest speakers, among the audience, who has a business? Just a business, wherever it's located. If you have a business, you have a business. What's your business about? What's your business about?
The name of the business is Suit Place, and we sell shirts, suits, ties for male, female, and children. Okay, so.
Can I have another person, please? Who else rose up their hand? Sister Nick, I'm excluding you because you're a speaker. You have a business as well. Okay, thank you. So please tell us the name of your business and what you sell.
My business is the practice of law. So I do
so
my practice of law as a
service.
business. Yes.
So it's a service you're selling.
It's a service,
And
yes.
it's a product you're selling. Beautiful. I saw Sister Landry here. Where did she run to? I will also market her business for her. She sells pastries. Amazing, tasty pastries. Please, let's have my slides on the screen, please. So I asked because I'm going to use your businesses as examples. So you can also get some ideas from there. Is it on the screen? Okay, so today I'm going to talk about how to market and promote your business on social media. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk about company analysis. I won't dwell so much on it because our previous speakers have spoken about that. I'll talk about practical steps you can do to successfully market your business on social media. I'll give you examples of AI tools that people use to improve the system and processes and make it easier for you, and then give you a real life example from myself. Let's move on. So now, SWOT analysis. To break it down, SWOT means strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you need to do an internal and external analysis of your business, know where you are, what you have, what you can do better than your competitors. Look for opportunities in your weaknesses. Your weaknesses doesn't always have to be the end of your business. For example, your weakness could be that you don't have a physical location. Your weakness could be that you don't have enough customers. But that is also a strength for you because you can see it as an opportunity, which is the next one. Okay, I don't have a physical location. He has given you an idea of what to do now. I don't have enough customers. Are you marketing yourself enough on social media to get more customers? What kind of services do you offer? Because if you're just saying law, it's very vague. You need to be specific to attract the right audience, right? And then threats. What is your competitor doing that you feel like you're going to lose sales or lose customers from them? For instance, you and someone else might be selling t-shirts. You might be selling it at £100 per t-shirt. Someone comes in and is selling it at £20 per t-shirt. That's a threat to you. So now you're going to look at how you can still target your customers and make sure that you're not compromising on quality, you're not compromising on cost, and you're giving them the exact same thing that they're going to get from someone with a lower price. Do you understand? Let's move on. So now I'm going to talk about the steps. I have, I think 6 steps here. Okay, 5 actually. So the first step is to identify your goals. Why do you need to be on social media in the first place? Everyone is joining, you want to join. No, you will fail in the first week. I'm telling you, because social media is not a small ball game. It's very tedious, it can be very frustrating, and if you don't start the right way, you're going to end up with frustration, and that's why you see people, their page will just be blank. They've not posted in years because they saw that it was not working. They didn't do it the right way. Understand your why. Is it to increase brand awareness? You've conquered your local market. You want to reach more people globally. You want to reach more people online. You want to get more sales. You want to build community online where if you talk today, they can market you, they'll buy your product immediately. That's why you have influencers. They've built online community. That's why when brands reach out to them to talk about their products on their platform, it's easy for those brands to make sales because they are keying into the community that influencer has built with their audience. So different things can be your reason for wanting to be on social media. And then make sure that your goal is SMART. SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I'm going to give you an example of a SMART goal. I want to get to 2,000 followers in 3 months. Currently, your business is on 500 followers. Let's say it's on Instagram. First of all, it's specific. 3 months. It's achievable and measurable because you can say, okay, for every month within those 3 months, I need to get at least 500 new followers. And then it's relevant to your business because it's more awareness for your brand, can lead to more sales. Can you see how it's making it easier for you and you're not frustrated like, oh, I want to grow on social media. And then if you don't now grow, you didn't define the growth. The growth might be in more views. It could be in more saves. It could be in more shares. But it might not relate to sales, right? So if you're able to define it, then your goals will be smart enough for you to know that you're growing as a business or you're growing on social media. Let's move on, please. Okay, understand your target audience. You cannot sell to everybody. It's not possible. There are billions of people in the world. There are different businesses catering to these same people that you're targeting. So you need to be as specific as possible when you're identifying your audience. It will also help when you're running ads. The first time I ran ads on social media, I did not get the result I wanted. I was frustrated. I felt like I wasted my money. But then I took an online class on Facebook and Instagram ads, how to run it effectively. And when I applied those lessons on my page, I saw real results because I did it the right way. So you need to know their categories. What gender? Are they male? Are they female? Your shirt, are you selling to male or female? The law, who are you selling to? Are you selling to lawyers? Are you selling to companies? Are you selling to businesses that are looking for how to understand the legal parts of starting a business in the UK? You need to know who they are. Where are they located? Are they online if your business is an e-commerce business? Are they in your local community? How can you reach them? You need to understand the social media platforms that they are on. Some people, it's just Facebook they are on. Some people, it's YouTube. But younger people, you see them on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, and all of that. Some people don't even use WhatsApp. So some businesses that are run on WhatsApp, you might not be able to reach some people because they're not on WhatsApp. So you need to find other ways to reach out to them. There's also email marketing, right? And then content types. There are different content types. There are videos, there are pictures, there are infographics, right? You need to understand the kind of content that they prefer. So now when you start a business, it's no longer about you. You're basically a slave to your audience. Give them what they want for them to come back. If you don't give them what they want, you'll be frustrated because they're not seeing results. And it's because you're talking to the wrong people, right? So when you understand them, you'll be able to do better. Please let's go to the next slide. You'll see an example of a customer persona. So now you need to be as detailed as possible. You can get templates on Google, on Canva, on Pinterest, or you can decide to create one from scratch if you're that creative. Be as specific and detailed as possible. Now, if you look at this customer persona, you see frustrations. That could be where your business idea stems from. What are their frustrations? Maybe this lady now, she finds it difficult to find decent dresses that are affordable. That could be why your brand is starting. It could be that you love fashion, you love designing clothes, but you don't know who to design for because there are lots of brands. There's PLT, there's Zara, there's Primark, all sorts of brands. But how do you differentiate yourself from them? Because you've identified your why and identify your who, it will be easy for you to target those people, right? You also need to know their interests, their personalities, their purchase influence. What makes them buy from brands? Is it the name of the brand? For instance, Apple. People want to buy from Apple because it's a big brand. Is it the name of the car, Tesla, because it's an e-vehicle? You need to understand all the things about them. Be as detailed as possible so that you're talking to the right people. This is very, very important. Let's move on, please. Okay, create engaging content. I have an example at the end of the slide, so I'll try not to spend too much time on it. But like some places where you can find engaging content, in your comment section, in the comment section of your competitors, what are people saying there? Can you get ideas from there? For instance, someone is asking about the quality of the shirt someone else made. And you go to their comment section and you see that. And then you now create a content on your own page hi guys, oh, this our shirt is made of premium cotton. We source from the best suppliers in the world. That kind of thing. You're attracting them because you're talking about what they're interested in, right? So you can get from comment sections, you can ask Google, ChatGPT is your best friend. You can ask ChatGPT and make life easy for you so you don't have to do all the thinking, right? On TikTok, there's something called Creator Search Insights. When you search for that and you go there and you type whatever niche that you're catering to, you see different content that have been created there, and you see the ones that in the past few days or past few weeks has been trending. And once you're able to key into that, you see your videos getting more views because you're talking about what is happening at that, what is trending, basically. So those are practical ways that you can use to get it. And then what kind of videos are you creating? What kind of content are you creating? Are you adding value to your audience? Are you entertaining them? Is it comedy? Are you dancing? Are you singing? Are you doing voiceovers? What kind of videos? What kind of graphics? What kind of fonts are you even using on your graphics? Is it something that when I see it, I'm like, this thing is so nice. I want to see more of it. Because the first content that your audience gets in contact with your page will determine whether they will come and see the rest or not. So you need to, like Sister Nike said, there should be a standard. Not that they will see one today, they'll come to your page and they'll see something else. You've lost that person like that, right? And then to avoid being overwhelmed, select specific hours or days where you can batch create content, then take your time to edit. Content creators, especially the ones that do it full time, there's nobody that will create content every day. To sit down, do makeup 2 hours, create content 10 hours, edit the content 5 hours. It's not possible. You can do your content, do your makeup once, film like 10, 20 videos that will last you 1 week. No, not 1 week. Let's say a month to 3 months. So that when it's now time to post the content, maybe a day to 2 days to, you're now editing it. You're making it easier for yourself. So you don't have to go through that strenuous process every single time you want to film content. Or if you need graphics, maybe you're not good at graphics, you can pay a graphics designer, tell the graphics designer, these are the contents you need for the month. And then you give them a deadline. I need this by this time. Have a content calendar so that you're tracking your progress. You know that, okay, this content is meant to go out today. I've posted it. You're not behind. Or you're not feeling like you've not done enough work. It's because you're not tracking it. Right? Let's move on. And I think step 5 is the final step. Yes, content scheduling and monitoring. Among the AI tools, you see tools that you can use to do this, right? You can create content calendars on Excel. You can do it on Notion. You can do it on Canva. You can do it on your Notes app. You can even write it down on a book. As far as you're able to see it, it makes it doable. If you're just thinking about it, you can forget, right? Let's move on, please. So this is an example of a content calendar. This one is just for a week. So you can try and be as detailed as possible. In this one now, the day that content is going out, the platform, for instance, if you're on multiple platforms, the platform that content is going out on, there's some content that you don't need to post across all your social media platforms. There are some that, for instance, if you want to post reels, you know it's okay on TikTok, on Instagram, and YouTube Shorts, not necessarily on Twitter. If it's on Twitter, you need to write. You need to create banter. Let people be able to contribute to your conversation or to your post, right? You can be as detailed as possible. Is it a video? Is it an image? Is it a graphics design? The caption, the hashtags, it will help you on the posting day so that you're not having to think about what to type or what to write on that day. Everything has been sorted out, so you're just posting. And it makes it easier, right? And then determine the goal of that content. Not everything will bring you sales. Not everything will bring you brand awareness. Not everything will bring you engagement. You need to identify what that specific content is bringing so that you're not frustrated when you're not seeing the results you think that content is meant to bring. And then let's move to the next one. So here are useful AI tools. This is ChatGPT that you can use to ask questions. Ask ChatGPT anything. I'm a business owner of a t-shirt, customized t-shirt brand. I'm looking to post 3 times a week for 3 months, right? Including pictures and videos. Give me content ideas for 3 months, 3 days a week that are engaging, that are insightful, that are valuable to my audience, and that are specifically tailored. If you have your customer persona, you can even upload the picture or give it as much details as possible. And ChatGPT will give you everything. There's some content ideas that I've gotten now. It's not from my head, though. No, I can't stress myself, sorry. ChatGPT is my best friend. If you see our conversations, you will think I'm talking to a human being. So make use of the tools that have been made available. And they are free. That's the good thing about it. It's free. You don't have to pay. It's not part of your fixed cost or your variable cost. Okay? This is Canva, which is what I used to do, these beautiful slides. They are templates online, so you don't even have to build from scratch. You can just be like presentation slides. You will see a lot. Oh, my 15 minutes timer is up. Just give me 5 more minutes. You can see different templates, and you can just use any one that relates to whatever it is that you're working on, right? Grammarly, if you're not so good with wordings, you're not so good with English, Grammarly can help you to fine-tune the words, your captions, your infographics. Grammarly can help you. CoSchedule, Hootsuite, Buffer, they are examples of scheduling tools that you can use to post across platforms. So you don't have to especially if you're on multiple platforms, you don't have to always go to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere, every single time you want to post, and you're stressed. Because like, how many platforms at the same time? And you're trying to meet a target. Let's say every day you want to post by 5 p.m. It's not possible to post by 5 p.m. across platforms. But if you use these tools, you just give it the content, the caption, and tell it to connect your platforms to them and give it a time. Come back by that time. You see everything is posted at the exact time. You could even use the in-app self. Instagram, let's say it's only Instagram you're on, and maybe you're not going to be available to post it at that time. You can schedule it on the app. Might not even necessarily need these tools. CapCut, video editing app, there are different ones. Google Trends, where you can get content ideas. Pinterest as well is another place where you can get content ideas. Notion for your content calendar, tracking your growth and everything. And then Answer the Public is another way for you to get content ideas. If you just go there and type anything, you will see what people all over the world are searching for relating to that thing. On Google, on YouTube, and some other social media platforms. So it makes it easy. Now this is a real life example. Please, can you play that video? Where's the audio? Is the remote here? No. Because the audio is important. You've skipped though. Okay. We'll go back to the video place, please. I'll try and play the audio from here. Hopefully you're able to hear it. Are you there? Okay. You can play the video again. No, the video. The video. Anyways, when it goes back there, okay, you can just leave it. Just go back to slide 11, but don't play it. Thank you. Now, do you recognize that sound? Exactly. By the time you hear it, remember Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's a show where people are timed to answer questions correctly and win money, right? And this was a trend I saw going on TikTok, actually. I saw it on TikTok. I saw a fitness coach use this audio and ask questions similar to this. And I'm like, I can do that for my niche. And then I did it for skincare. The first thing you see is, you can only pick 2 things. You two are wondering, why is she commanding me? What am I picking from? And then I give you 5 lists of things. No acne for life, no dark spots, reduced fine lines, lifetime skincare supplies, always looking young. I make sure to use things that are relevant, things that people are talking about. And so it had to make people think, which 2 will I pick? And if you go to this video, you will see the comment section. I could not stop laughing. People are even explaining their problems to me. I just asked you to pick. Someone even told me her boyfriend broke up with her. I just asked you to pick. I promise you, it's a very simple thing. And then I make sure that the caption was engaging as well. I even added my own answer and my reason for picking that answer. So I made the conversation now. That's what prompted them to give me the reason why they chose so, and so. Some are even asking me, is the only 2 we can pick? The instruction is simple. Just pick 2, please. And then I make sure to use relevant hashtags. You can't be using all the hashtags in the world. No, it doesn't work that way. So you see now, I make sure to use things that are related to the video. Skincare tips, skincare products. I won't use the things on the list. Acne-prone skin, fine lines, dark spots, Korean skincare, because they are known for, targeting all these things the most. And that's what helped the business. Helped the video. And why people were thinking, because the video is also short, that time you're using to think, the video would have played like 3-5 times. Exactly. While you're commenting, the video is still playing in the background. Let's go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Now, this is the analytics of the video. This was about a month ago. Over 2 million plays or views. Now, it doesn't mean 2 million people watched it. One person can watch it like 10 times. It still counts, right? Over 36,000 comments. Instagram did not show me the share. I don't know why, but I know that a lot of people shared it and a lot of brands reposted it, right? See the comments, see the likes, see the saves. Why are they saving it? It's just a very, very, very comedic video, right? So when you create something that is interesting to them, that is of value to them, that's how you get their interests, right? And that's how they stay. That's how you make yourself memorable. And then some brands use that as an opportunity to place their products there. See this one. A lifetime of different will solve some of the other answers. Another one that is a Korean beauty brand. Well, you can surely get A, B, C, and E from us. Can you see? So, as I said, you can even check comment section. You can even put your brands there. It doesn't have to be a competitor. It can be an indirect competitor. Maybe someone is selling joggers or selling cargo pants, and you can be like, I think a shirt from so brand will make a perfect look for your outing with your boys. Do you understand? So be as strategic as possible. And then the last slide, finally. So final tips, don't forget to have fun while at it. It might be stressful, but make sure you're having fun. Whether it's when you're doing your content, when you're editing, when you're posting, whatever it is, make sure to have fun. Always listen to feedback, because that's how you improve, that's how you grow. And then request for customer reviews, because as an online brand, that is one thing that will make someone to purchase from you, especially if they don't know you. There are times when I've had to go and ask people that the brand has posted their review. Please, I want to buy from this brand. Please tell me more about them aside what's on their page before I can give them my money, right? You're building trust. Collaborate with creators, but don't do it at the initial start of your business. Let people know you for you, so that when you're bringing someone else entirely, it's just to increase your brand awareness. Not that when the period where you pay that person to do work for you has gone, you cannot afford to pay that person continuously. So you need to have your own identity before you bring in another person, right? And then ask questions, and if possible, pay to automate processes that will help you focus on other things. Using AI tools, getting more people on your team, and the Lord will help you in Jesus' name. I don't know if there'll be time for questions, but I will be available after now. Do I have 5 minutes for question? Okay. Any questions, please? Okay, wait. You've had like 3 questions. Let me. No, wait, sir. Please, sir. Let's diversify. Let's diversify. No, wait. I will answer your question, but I want to give someone else that hasn't spoken or asked a question. There were hands that were raised here. Please, can you raise them again? Okay, you've asked. Please, let's give him first. Thank you.
Hi there.
Apologies.
Thank you for your presentation. Very nice.
Thank you.
Quick question. When you are offering a product and when you are offering a service, do you think there's a difference in the strategy of applying these?
At all. It's the same strategy. So it's either you're telling them about the product you're selling or you're telling them about the service you're offering. But you just have to tailor it to whatever your brand is and whoever your target audience is. It's the same thing. Everything applies. Okay.
Yeah, in engaging traffic and probably your followers and using ChatGPT, I found that the first time we're using it in our business, we had a lot of traffic and more of engagement. But I discovered that Facebook blocked us for 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Did they give you why?
They gave us that our community, so, the words we are using it's not engaging, sort of community support. They didn't see anything more than that. So I will now make an inquiry. It's quite that probably the words were used, taken from ChatGPT, putting on a social media platform, are something that they don't want. I don't know.
So the thing is, these platforms can be very funny. They can cancel you at any time for any reason. So if it's something that you can edit, for instance, if that content has already gone live, that ad had already gone live, if it's something that you can edit so that your ads can keep running, go ahead and do it so that they don't disable your account. Because it'll be frustrating when you've spent a lot of time and money growing that page, and then when it's now finally time to, reap the fruits of all your hard work, they now come and tell you, no, for one or two reasons. So if you can get an expert to look at it, there are people that are social media ads experts to look at it, they'll be able to understand and know how to help your business recover from that and cancel whatever issue the platform has put on your video. Okay, last question. Who? Oh, okay, sorry.
All right, so I don't know if it's, thank you for the
No
awesome
worries.
presentation. So I was thinking maybe in another session, or because you didn't mention anything about monetizing, traction and all of that.
So if you're a content creator, that's when you need to talk about the monetizing. So on Instagram, you cannot monetize your content, right? The platform will not pay you to put content on the platform. But there is a threshold that you get to where people can contribute to you, right? You can activate that when you're posting that, people can pay you because they enjoy that content. That's the only way Instagram can pay you, is other people paying you through the platform. Or brands see your content, they know that you have an engaging community, then they pay you based on your own rates to place their product on your page. Then for TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, the platforms, they pay, right? When you have 10,000 followers on TikTok, you can start earning money for your views and also your TikTok lives. On Facebook, I'm not really sure how it works, but I know when you get to a threshold, all these platforms, they have a threshold that you must reach, a criteria that you must reach before you can start earning money from it, because there are people that do it full time. That's how they're getting their money, and also from brand deals, right? I hope I answered your question. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me finally...
Sorry. You see, my question is wrapped around these new media, because that's what I would call it, the new media. It's just marketing on a new media.
Yeah.
And for me, my interest as somebody interested in practicing law, it's a conventional thing. You are not allowed to market. And this is digital marketing. And what I've seen that people do is you are allowed to write intellectual articles. You are allowed to have intellectual discussions, maybe on YouTube and all this stuff. So what other strategies can you use to reach audience in these new media, apart from YouTube, and maybe you are writing on a blog or whatever it is? And secondly, I would like to come to ask questions in terms of intellectual property. When you create content, it's an intellectual property for somebody. So can somebody just wake up and just do something that is similar, like what he said, and what he contributed, that they just blocked him? So I don't know the place of intellectual property in all these Instagram and all these things.
Okay. So your first question is on other engaging contents that you can do to boost your brand. Do you know Lai Wasabi? Yes, I understand. That's his own way. He studied law, but he's not practicing it. That's his own way on educating people about law, by using comedy. So I think you would first have to know what makes you different from other lawyers. For Lai Wasabi, it was his comic relief, and he didn't want to actually practice it. There are other people. Okay, let me give an instance in another industry. There is Aproko Doctor. He might be practicing it full time, but he's also creating content on it, not necessarily sharing patient information. So if it's something that you don't have to share client information, but just valuable content, even if it's something they can find online, but finding a way to redo the content. Some of the things I post on my page, there are other people that are posting it. You will see it on Pinterest sef. For instance, I can see skincare routine on Pinterest, and I want to create that same content. Instead of making my own a graphics, I can make my own a video. But instead of making it just a video, I can use a trending audio that will list out those things as I'm saying it. For instance, you see some people now, they are dancing to a song, they are pointing, as they are pointing, some things are showing, right? So things that are not sensitive, that you can post online, you can do your research on what other people are doing, how they are doing it, and how you can be different, right? That you are not going against the legal rules and obligations. But to give you further details, maybe you can meet me later. And then the second one on intellectual rights, I make sure that all my contents are branded, right? Either with a logo or with something. That's something that every brand should know. Because it's easy for blogs to just take your content and not give credits to you. I've had to fight blogs online for them to give credits to my friends' content. And they would have put in so much effort. And because that brand or that blog has lots of followers, they feel like it's okay for them to do that. And I don't care how many followers you have. I will bring down your page if you don't give the credit to the right person. Do you understand? And then when they see all those kind of things, they're also threatened because these platforms, they don't take this thing lightly. When you're stealing someone's content, when you're acting like as if you're the owner, when you're not giving credit to the right person, and the worst is even on YouTube. You might use a music for your background music, and it might not have cost anything. But someone somewhere will come and say, it's my own. Oh. Is that not what happened to Moneyboli? When her video was about to reach 7 million for Love in Every Word, someone came to claim intellectual property. But I don't know how she solved it, and she brought it back. So you need to be conscious of those things, making sure that you're not going in the wrong direction. Make sure your video is branded. Make sure that you're not stealing from somebody else. Give credit to whom credit is due, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please. Final question.
A comment. She said a comment.
Okay, comment.
There's just something that in respect to ChatGPT, because it's very popular now, we need to, it's just a little caveat. There's something called hallucination in using ChatGPT. You can look it up. It's where, because ChatGPT basically sources the entire internet and collates the data for you. When you use it, please double check. Yeah. Sometimes some of the data is nonsense. Yeah. It's not relevant. So let's not let it replace us actually putting in the work. Yeah. So when we ask it to generate content or ideas, let's verify. Let's have backup. Sorry, that's it.
Yes. Always edit it because ChatGPT is not human. It won't talk how you would relate to human beings. So fine-tune it to your own audience and to your own content style. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. You can ask her after. Should we comment?
To build your CV, would you advise that?
Well, I've used it, but like she said, you just need to edit it and make sure that it's not making up things.
Okay, from experience, I would say you can use ChatGPT. You can tell ChatGPT this prompt. Okay, I'm applying for this job. Give ChatGPT the job description, the company website, and give ChatGPT your current CV, and then tell ChatGPT to tailor your CV to that role using keywords. Because when the company uses ATS systems, they are checking for certain keywords, and if your CV doesn't have it, you don't stand a chance to be called for an interview. So make sure that ChatGPT use keywords that are in that CV, or rather in that job description, so that when it's time for them to shortlist, you are among the people that are shortlisted. But make sure that it makes sense. You always have to go through it. It will just help you reduce your thinking stage, but make sure that it makes sense.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I believe that we have picked one or two things from the different sessions. And I just wanted to add to your question about other different contents that you can do, because I understand what you say, that you can advertise, so you can do interviews in the media, TV interviews, radio interviews, podcasts, thought leadership, writing posts and posting it, owning your own blog. You know, people just want to see that thought leadership around what you can do, and then from there, they can know that, oh, this is a lawyer, and I can reach out to him for what I need. So thank you so much. We've come to the end of today's program. It's been amazing. I've picked up a few things. I'm inspired. I'll start my business. I'll speak to speakers, so that, like they said, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. So please do take advantage of their presence today and ask questions. So at this point, remember I said this is the first edition of Navigate Business. We also have other streams of Navigate, and I'm going to invite Sister Mercy to come and talk to us about the next Navigate session that we have coming up. Thank you. And after her, there'll be a closing remark, and we can go into networking. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Good day, church. So I actually just put this down so that I'm not going to, say out of point. All right. So I think this is a very great time to be in Great Salvation Church, and the reason just because there's so many programs that are lined up just to educate you. So we're not just touching your spiritual aspects, about you, your financial aspects, your career. I'm talking about career. We have a career event coming up in May, and that will be the last Saturday in May. And honestly, we've had, we've had events, we have situations where people get job, and they're while in the job, 3 months, 6 months into the job, right, they're being laid off. And it's just simply because cultural differences, all of that. So, where you're coming from might be different from what you're doing right here. So it's not just one thing to get a job, it's how to stay in that job. So obviously, we've talked about business today. In May, to be about your career. And it would be good if, right, you bring your friends and families about it, right, and then they also come again. We'll be having 3 speakers. I won't go too deep into it, but majorly it's be about personal branding. Okay, they're right there. To be about personal branding, to be about workplace culture, and about you transitioning into a career. So probably the career where you are, you want to move into that career. This would be a great event for you to come and check. And obviously, in the UK, if you want to leave your career to another career, if you're talking about 1 year, 2 years, that's a long time. But right, while you're coming here, you can get to know careers can move into within a short time. So come ready because we're actually getting ready for you. And I'm very sure you actually get the very best. All right, see you there. Bye.
We are gradually coming to the end of the program. I just want to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you that has been present here today. And I hope that we are taking, or we've had actionable things that we can get, or they were taken with us from what we've had today. So we've explored the journey of starting a business, creating a business, managing a business, funding, scaling, and marketing a business. And whether you're just starting out or whether you are already in it, I'm sure that today's discussion would provide things that you can use to launch you to your next level. And to our speakers and our panelists, thank you for generously sharing from your abundance of experience and knowledge with us. Your stories have reminded us of that entrepreneurship is not a straightforward journey, but it's actually doable, and it's a journey of resilience, creativity, and constant sharing. So as we leave here today, to everyone, our guests, let's carry forward the energy, the knowledge, and the takeaways that we've gotten from this place. So before you leave, during the networking session, some of our business people have some of their stuff at the back of the hall. So you are encouraged to encourage them, patronize them. That's the word, patronize them, buy from them. And thank you again for being here. Keep building, keep growing, and we'll see you again at the next one. Thank you.
Sorry, let me speak English. What's the English of that? Where's the feedback? The feedback. Please. What we want is everybody to do the feedback. That's very important. Number one, we'll go back to drawing board and see if it's going to be repeated if it's worth repeating. And if it will be repeated, what other angle are we going to come from? So please, do the feedback. Please, do the feedback. It's very, very important. Do the feedback, please. Is it coming on? Yeah, so the feedback will be there. Just scan it. And it's very short, straightforward. Pastor Dapo, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for, yeah, so that's the feedback. Just scan it. Thank you so much for, and Pastor is coming on the second Sunday in April. So he's not coming as a businessman, he's coming as a prophet. I think you should clap. Yeah. And it's particularly to let us know that, you see, if you're only doing one thing with your life, you are limiting yourself. Oh, yes. So, people like you are doing 10 things with them and they are not overwhelmed. So, what are you doing? So, and they'll be coming as a prayer. I said it even if you, while he wasn't here, there is a special grace on pastor's life. It's a unique grace. And I want you to come and bring your friend. So come very early. There is a special grace on his life. And when he begins to minister, you will see. Are you following me? I'm sorry that we're using business to, but that's what is in my heart. Pastor Maria. This is Pastor Maria. You know, should I tell them our story? Well, thank you for coming. Thank you. From the ushering days. Thank you. Amara, thank you so much. Thank you. I was going to ask you, do you do business with yours? Can you help organize? So you talked about that in networking. Pastor Shaji. So Amara and Sister Nika is one of us. They are here. They are here now. So because you see, I believe in our people. I believe that we can use our own voices to impact. Because when you see people just running up and down, you don't know the kind of what they control. But I thought you'd have. Did they tell you that you read there and you studied there? That you are UK. So it's not. It's university here, everything, even masters here. And I know you are learning Python. Is it crocodile or Python? Is it Python? So for those of you that have taken time out to come, please, thank you so much. That brother, my brother, he was in the first Navigate that we did. You remember him? That question, you said you cut off your job and you came for the... So thank you so much. Thank you, man, for coming. Thank you, sir. And Lord bless you, Jesus. And let's rise up. Father, we thank you for this event. We give you the glory and praise. And we ask that the seed that has been sown will germinate in our lives. In Jesus' mighty name. Let's share the grace and fellowship. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us the days of our lives. We dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. As for me and my house, we are a demonstration of the reality and the existence of God to the world. 2025, nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing impossible. For with God, all things are possible for us because we believe. Now, tomorrow is Mother's Day. Pastor Margaret will be preaching. Powerful word, I'm telling you. I'm not preaching tomorrow. So she will be preaching powerfully. Sister Eunice, I hope you still know the road to church tomorrow. So it's Mother's Day. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. There's a gift for every mother tomorrow. So please come very early and dress and make up 2 hours. Is it 2 hours or 3 hours? Just make up. And there'll be, so we are setting up that. So she's preaching powerfully tomorrow. So come. So as she's talking, just be clapping. All right, thank you. So it's networking now. We have gifts for you, so take your gift and enjoy. Thank you. We're going to have some music. Put music for us. Who is taking pictures? Titi?